Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Candle or the Night, a podcast featuring a group of friends in a actual play Star Wars Force and Destiny role-playing adventure. We've had a little break since our last episode. Apologize for the lateness, but I had a rather tragic hard drive crash, which was a monster to recover from. Thank goodness I had good backup systems, so got everything back online and we are moving on again. This is episode number 17, and tonight is special. We are welcoming a new member of the party, Ishwar. You will see the circumstances through which he is connected to our heroes. He will be a new and regular ongoing character. Before we begin, I'd like to just cover, if you'd like to see more about the campaign background, artwork, stories about our heroes, feel free to visit our website at www.candleorthenight.com and shoot us an email. We love to hear from our listeners. Email address is feedback@candleorthenight.com. You can also find our Facebook page. That works as well. If you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It's a huge help to us. That pretty much wraps up our announcements, so we'll get on into the adventure. We have titled this episode Sirocco, after the legendary weapon of the mysterious Jaggasan. Enjoy the show. Bior had some wonderful artwork done by Dion, but I wanted to get him sort of in artistic style matching to the rest of you. So let's kind of take a look at that. And actually, Bior, hang on one second. Actually, give me 1 second to put that up there. Bior, while I'm doing this, would you mind describing a little bit what you were going for with this art piece?
All right, well, being that my character is more like the type of Ronin-ish type of Jedi, but also the Sirocco Defender type class, I wanted to kind of illustrate that. So you got to see the picture. I wanted to illustrate that, but also show how my character is a little bit calm in the thick of it, and it's really like no thing to him. It's almost a breeze doing my job.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So Bior, quickly walk us through and tell us the parts that were important to you that helped to get to this level.
I like his pipe.
I was about to say, not only do I slice people in half, I do it while smoking.
All right. So I really wanted to show, that obviously the defender part, that's why there's a couple of dead bodies. But I wanted more than one dead bodies to kind of illustrate my skill. Obviously, I take care of affluent people. And
Yeah, he was a bodyguard for a long time, wasn't he?
Poor people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Screw the poor people.
Yeah.
I like
Screw the poor.
I like the
Buy me a
samurai
pipe and I will
touches
defend
and
you.
the front plating of the armor, like the
Yes,
Japanese
this guy-
style
this-
of
this-
figure.
this guy pulled off the request like there's nobody's business. It's very much what I had in mind. The baggy
like the genie
pants,
pants.
the tight chest piece, the pipe was phenomenal.
Is it
I
just
didn't even know your
me,
character.
or
You should mention that you're lighting your pipe up more often.
it looks like you carve scrimshaw in your spare time and pump a lot of iron, but with scrimshaw?
I also like the shocked Mater D in the background.
Yeah, the bellboy. That's epic. I love
He
that.
did that by
Yeah.
himself.
What's going on here?
He added that in by himself. That was
Oh, really? That's from him?
That was totally.
Yes.
I'm not even telling you. Like I very clearly, after having an interview with Bior about what he wanted, like tried to describe everything in exhaustive detail. But I didn't mention that. But I just said this basically went down right after this female Chiss like was leaving her office building. So he just threw that in there, and I loved it. It was great.
Really good.
As Bior pointed out, it's kind of has a Star Wars with a slight Blade Runner feel to it, and I love it. So,
well, what I really like about this, I like the other one too, but this gives me a sense of, like more of a sense of who Bior is, right? Like
exactly
the look on his face, the sort of like, yeah, I'm still protecting you, but I think everyone's down, and so I'm gonna smoke out a little bit.
I'm also quite smug.
And Kip, you probably have listened to it on the podcast, but that pipe actually came from an earlier episode, so it has some historical significance.
Oh, I might not have.
Yeah, they found it on the wreck of the Adhara Grey when they were like pillaging the promenade.
We were rummaging through the stuff.
Wait, after you guys crash landed?
Yeah, there was a part in an earlier session when, well after they crash landed, they found part of the wreckage of the luxury liner that crashed, and they were sort of hunting for things on it, and they came across the sort of shopping mall promenade area, and they got some fat loots from there. Yeah.
Bloodbath and Beyond.
Bloodbath and Beyond, yes. All right, so that catches us up on the artwork. That's fantastic. We have no conflict to resolve this time. I would like actually to quickly mention our website, www.candleorthenight.com. Also, feel free to leave us email at feedback@candleorthenight.com. And let's kick us off actually with everyone rolling 1 force dice for our Destiny pool.
I would like to make an announcement. Jensa just for the very first time ever rolled light side instead of dark. First time ever, whole history.
It was the first time, wasn't it?
17 games, I finally.
All right, so we have our Destiny pool. Let me put this up here. We have 4 dark side points and 5 dark side points and 2 light side points. And Ishwar, just so you know, Destiny points are very similar in concept to hero points in D&D, but in this game, they represent sort of the forces of light and dark weaving into fate. So you can use those Destiny points. You can tell me I want to use the Destiny point, and you get to upgrade one of the skill checks you're about to make or downgrade an opponent's skill check. And I can walk you through how to do that when the time comes. But just remember they exist, and they allow you to boost your skill rolls in a tight situation if you really need to succeed.
Difference between a dark side and a light side usage?
You cannot use the dark side ones. The dark side ones are for me to use on the NPCs to oppose you. The light side pool is for you guys to use. And when you use one, it then becomes a dark side point and vice versa. So the total number of points stays constant. They flip back and forth between light and dark depending on me using them or you guys using them.
Oh, I had no clue.
Yes.
Can we get an extra light? I count 3.
1, 2. Oh man, you're right. Thank you. 3.
Yeah, I gotta keep you honest.
I don't mean to cheat you, ladies and gentlemen.
Reaching into the dark side already.
I don't know what happened. All right, so
the Hornaday voice too, which makes me not want to trust Hornaday.
You mean the Colonel Sanders voice that I'm so widely ridiculed for?
You trust Hornaday?
Your bad Southern accent.
Yeah, as I will say right up front, Ishwar, I'm bad at just about all accents, but it doesn't stop me from trying.
And your
What do you mean? The Hornaday is a really good accent.
I think so, but no one else does.
I'm the only linguist in this entire group, so all of them.
All right, so let's quickly do our recap and we can get you guys back in the action. So, okay, this is Candleor the Night, session 17. Last time on session 16, the party gathered their wits after closing the deal with the spice chemist Shuck Rodank to transport illicit goods to the Tyon cluster in exchange for a rare antidote for your fallen master. Jensa expresses disgust at the party's involvement with a spice chemist. Tyrus and Victor, however, are far more willing to do what needs to be done. The party...
Actually, I'm fine with spice. It's the drug from the bugs that I object to.
Okay.
Yep.
The party then meets with Mr. Geleth Hawk, the smuggler baron and CEO of the newly created Hawk Industries, a weapons and technology firm created specifically to benefit independent captains and mercenaries who exist outside of the sphere of control of the Empire. Mr. Hawk is more than pleased to see Jensa again, who is quite willing to use her feminine wiles to help secure a good bargaining position with him. Mr. Hawk offers a job to the team. Help him recover stolen tech for the Remus droid, a prototype repulsor lift droid capable of a wide array of assistive tasks. The droid was stolen and sold to Arakid Industries, and this theft was orchestrated by members of an underworld organization called the Crimson Dawn. If the party can infiltrate Arakid Industries' facility on the planet Sembla, their reward would include credits, a rare data-breaking device housed at the facility, and the ability to hold on to the Remus unit. Furthermore, Mr. Hawk took an interest in Kip and offered him the chance to develop the Remus unit further with him. And because he is a consummate gentleman, Mr. Hawk also offered to throw in an extra medium laser cannon for your undergunned vessel. The party agrees, and Jensa and Kip then return to the Errant Seeker to initiate repairs on the systems, only to discover that data corruption had destroyed their navigational charts. Jensa asks Victor to help secure new star charts. Vic, Bior, and Tyrus go to the cantina to meet the Hellions, who sent a message summoning Victor. They wish to express their gratitude for the party helping them undermine Rodile Luxury Holdings and secure the Hellions' ability to escape the moon. In appreciation for the remarkable accomplishments, Hal Satha, the head of the Hellions, gives Victor a Hellion cut, a vest which symbolizes an alliance with the gang. Hal pledges to have Vic's back and expects him to do the same in future dealings. Vic is now an ally to the Hellions. After having a lucky night, Victor's gambling winnings more than make up for any losses. Walking away richer, the party heads back to the Errant Seeker to begin their journey to Sembla. It is now, while in hyperspace heading towards their destination, the party realizes they have a daunting task ahead of them. They must mastermind a ploy to get into the facility on Sembla, which is top secret and well guarded. But first, they stop for resupply and refueling at their first planetary orbital station. And with that, I turn it over to you guys. You are on board your ship, the Errant Seeker, in hyperspace. The five of you, Victor, Tyrus, Bior, Jensa, and Kip, are on board the Errant Seeker. You are in hyperspace, headed to the Sembla system. You have probably a good 10 hours of hyperspace before you make it there. And you had expressed last time your plans are to stop at the space station orbiting the planet first for resupply.
Yeah. If it's okay, I would like to start.
Take it away.
I kind of have like a private little monologue in retort to that vision I got. If anyone, I think everybody heard it, didn't they? Or was that in a private chat?
The dream sequence was private.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do this for everybody, or do I need to go in the private chat channel for it?
Let's do this. Jensa and I will jump into the other channel, and the rest of you guys can look at the clues in Discord that I posted from what Sky told you and come up with a plan. Take about 5 minutes to do that. Okay. So you guys confer, and Jensa, why don't you go to Discord, jump over into the Cone of Silence room?
So this is basically Jensa's kind of view about the vision she received regarding the light. She's kind of had some time to think about it, so she's kind of gonna walk over and pick the saber up off the desk where she left it and sit down on the bed and kind of talk to it.
So yes, you see before you what was known as Sirocco, formerly the weapon of Jaggasan. And as you hold it in your hands before you, tell us what you would be thinking or saying.
I think first and foremost, this is a weapon she really appreciates. So she's kind of like running her hands over it, and this is basically what's going on in her head. So
you see, just to describe it, you see a handle made of a very dried out kind of ashen wood, wrapped with a bronze wire around the wood to give it grip. And the hilt is a sort of dark brass color. There's a red tassel dangling from the bottom of the hilt. The weapon is not ignited, but through some vents in the upper part of the handle, you can see into the crystal chamber, where there is a dully glowing orange crystal inside. It is currently not ignited, but you feel warmth from it nonetheless.
I'm gonna kind of let out the low. You are beautiful. And kind of run my fingers over the hilt. And I can't deny I've always wanted one of you for myself. But the man who claimed you and made you was vile. And his idea of freedom is as warped as whatever lie he told himself into justifying kidnapping children and keeping them as slaves. And that's selfish. That's not freedom. He took Kip's freedom, he took Kip's choices away from him. Even with the best of intentions and a heap load of telling yourself you're acting in the better interests of the boy, what he did, he took Kip's ability to decide for right or wrong, good or bad, how he wanted to live his life. Abandoning your family, justifying their deaths, that's not freedom. Being alone, not having anyone to care about but yourself, that isn't freedom either. It's selfish. It's the kind of idiotic, selfish behavior most people grow out of. That kind of freedom is the nonsense teenage kids with everything handed to them on a silver platter sputter on about. No one's accountable to no one else. Everyone is accountable to someone or something somewhere. Freedom is being able to make choices in your life. Freedom is being able to live where you want and love what you want. Self-indulgence and self-centeredness, that isn't freedom. It's narcissism. It is an abandonment of self-discipline. It is reckless behavior. Those are the words and deeds of a person who has fallen to the wrong side. And maybe that's how you fall. Maybe once you fall, that's how people that take up this ember of Aranth try and justify what they've become. But freedom? Your brand of freedom is a lie and a trap, and I'm not going to fall for it. I have been a rat in an imperial cage nearly all my life. I have never once been free to choose my own destiny. So I think I can speak better to this than most. No man loves or understands freedom better than the man who has been denied it, and I have been hunted my entire life. Freedom is peace. And she kind of starts to look a little somber and sad at that point, I think. Freedom is a mind free of fear and anger and hatred. And freedom is stillness, whether you're alone or with a dozen people. Freedom is living your life without regret and dread. Everyone says the Jedi failed, or the Order failed, or they overstepped. They staged a coup. I don't know. I was too young to know. I doubt anyone alive who isn't interested in pushing their own agenda has any better idea or insight than I do. I do know this, though. The ideals on which the Jedi were founded are good and true. Peace, knowledge, and self-discipline, they're virtues. We should all strive to be better. We should all want to better ourselves. A never-ending journey to know who you are, a life spent in self-discovery. That's a worthwhile pursuit for every living being in this universe, whether they can wield the Force or not. We should want to be more than baser beasts. We should use our minds and our abilities to protect and nurture those that are weaker than ourselves, because life is suffering. All life is suffering, but we survive it. And we can choose to make the universe a brighter place. Cold, dead, dark, that's pretty much everywhere in the universe. Space is a cold and vacuumous place. Life is precious and rare, and it is worth protecting. Emotion yet peace, ignorant yet knowledge, passion yet serenity, chaos yet harmony, death yet the Force. The freedom I would have wanted for myself, for my life, had it not been stolen from me, would have been the freedom to choose to walk my path in the light. And I'm gonna kind of just set it down rather coldly on the desk and say, I am not falling for your trap. And I'm walking out of my room.
As you are just about to put it down out of your hand, you do feel a sudden, intense flash of heat. So hot that you feel like it's something that just is about to burn your hand. Yet as you put it down on the desk and you're not sure if you felt what you thought you felt, you touch it again and it's cold, room temperature.
Yeah, that completely confirms my personal belief that this is a Sith item meant to lead you down the path to darkness. So I think I made the right choice.
As you walk back out, I assume you were probably doing this in your quarters, the captain's quarters. Yeah. Okay. So as you leave the weapon on the desk in the room, and you kind of cast one look back at it, you walk back out to join the others, and we'll jump back in with them and see where they're at now.
So what's Jensa walking in on as she kind of heads back into the car?
We're talking about a disguise for Kip.
No, she kind of. I'm just gonna kind of slip in and sit in a chair.
So, just to catch up, Albie, I think we're in agreement, but I'll have to let everybody verify that. But I think the initial plan was that the technology that we're going to attempt to pawn is we're gonna, you know how Sky is a very authentic looking droid, and she looks rather human. Well, we're thinking about disguising Kip so that he looks like a rather authentic droid.
Okay.
But Kip is not the technology we're about to sell.
So, okay, I'll leave that to you. Now describe how you're going to disguise him, first of all, or how you're going to create that appearance.
Well, one thing we were going to do is get him a helmet that makes him look fairly robotic. And that way it disguises his look, because there was concern that he may have an appearance that the Crimson Dawn could recognize. So one, it covers his face. And then two, I was thinking maybe since we know Sky is a Kyber-infused droid, that we could maybe get some Kyber shards or something that looked like Kyber shards, mix it with some various mechanics and work up something to kind of attach to him in various locations. The way that Sky kind of looks like an android that's very real, but is also clearly has robotic parts.
So that's the disguise for Kip. What we're also thinking of is in the 10 hours that we have, Kip will throw together some piece of technology that would be basically an attachment that one can add to droids, as the thing that we're attempting to fence because of what they put out on the holonet.
I actually look at Kip and I got my finger on my chin and I point to you and I say, you know what, Kip, I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but you're exceptionally good at repairing things. And I mean that on a macro scale. maybe we can use that to our advantage here. Maybe we could sell them something that is very attuned to Kip's method of fixing mechanical problems and sell that as the droid tech. But you'll actually be piloting the tool, quote unquote, air quotations, when you show it off.
Do we have time to put something like that together?
Oh, it's fake. It's all presentation. Sure, we got time.
As long as it looks good, I suppose. In the end, it'll probably come down to how well you can just sell the appearance of it, and verbally how well you can present yourself.
Guys, my main question here is, do you want me to just sit this one out on the ship to get us the heck out of Dodge?
Sit parked with engines ready.
Yep.
The getaway car, so to speak.
I don't mind being getaway driver. I'm fine sitting on the ship, but the slicing thing's more your deal, Victor. Just let me know where you.
This is more than slicing.
I know.
I mean,
I think it'd be
whatever we come up with
suspicious.
has to be really convincing, because these people aren't idiots.
Exactly.
I think an upgrade that allows a droid to repair mechanics at an extremely adept level. Maybe using a pair of chopsticks.
So you're basically wanting Kip to puppet a robot.
You think he could do that?
Patron.
No droid can do what you can do, Kip. If
No.
a droid could, that would be exceptional.
No. I understand that. I was, if I do say so myself, the best on my world. That's why Kalara Industries took me and trained me. But if I understand you correctly, Patron Victor, you are asking me to create tech, and then you will attach tech to my fake helmet and then have me repair. So I should create something that can be attached to a droid, and then you will market it as an upgrade to the droid's repair schematics.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this. Keep going.
I can do that, yes sir.
What does everybody else think about that?
I hope you're ready.
Are you questioning my ability to be robotic?
No, but I think we're
Sorry,
kind of
Kip
underestimating
actually
people.
smiles. He knows he's making a joke, just so you know.
Episode 8, Kip develops a sense of humor. Is that a robotic implant?
Somebody look up a data
not-
joke. The next
Chip
gen.
is not unaware of his shortcomings, let's put it that way.
Shortcomings my ass, it's part of his charm.
Well, that's my suggestion. Not saying it's what we go with, but it's the best I can think of. It hides Kip. It gives us a piece of tech that we can sell. And
That
you could also
came
do a
as entry,
demonstration,
sir.
and that will take time. And time is
Yes.
exactly what.
So that was my next question. We will need, I believe, well, Patron Jaggasan used to talk about the cover and the operation. If I understand correctly, I am the cover. Who is the operation?
I
Kinda
lean
like-
back.
Cringe a bit at the mention of your previous page.
You realize he
Leave,
calls you Patron Jensa, right?
I know.
You know.
Leave the slicing and the stealthing to me. I think Tyrus will be our broker. Best fit. Look at Tyrus, see if he agrees.
So basically, Kip and Tyrus are the cover, and while they're doing their thing, you're.
Yeah, running the game.
How
Should we
are
send-
how are we gonna split apart?
I think you should go with Victor, Bior.
Yeah, but how are we gonna do this and have nobody notice us split apart?
I mean, is this like a
Patron Jack-
regular? Is this specifically like a corporation's private vessel that we're going to, or is this like a
It's
star?
Facility.
I mean, is this
You
on a
remember
planet?
from what Sky told you, this
Yeah.
is a black book facility off the corporate records that handles things that they would
Is it
not
on a
want.
planet?
It's on a planet. It's on the surface of the planet Sembla, in a region of the planet that is almost in a constant maelstrom.
So this thing is super under control.
It is not a large facility, but it's very likely tightly controlled and guarded by highly trained individuals.
Patron.
Its primary
Jaggasan.
purpose is technological research in droid.
Do we have any? Sorry, did we have any schematics or anything?
No schematics were available.
When I was seconded to the Crimson Dawn under Patron Jaggasan, the cover was used to provide the distraction so that the operation could slip in unnoticed. I suggest that you and Patron Victor do not come in with myself and Patron Tyrus, but rather use us as the distraction.
I kind of agree with Kip on this one.
We'll definitely
Yes.
need to break off and not be
Yeah.
seen. They need to know
Yeah.
we don't exist.
But we need to break off before we even get.
Well, as I understand it, that planet isn't exactly easy to land on. So I think we're all going to have to come in on the same ship.
Yes, I do agree with that, Patron Victor.
Maybe we can take some issues, use that to move around the base some.
Well, we're going to need to know where we're going. Somehow we've got to get our hands on some plans.
Aren't we on a bit of a time crunch with the Master's Cure as well?
The Master's Cure, you recall, was arranged transportation that it's going to get there before you could possibly even get there. So you don't know exactly
yeah,
when, but
isn't the starport we're stopping off on the way where we're dropping that off? I just want to clarify.
no. Where you'll be meeting the Rebel ship will be beyond and further past where you're stopping on the planet.
No, I mean the drugs, where we're taking the drug.
After this,
You'll be taking it. The drop-off point will be communicated to you after you enter the Tyon cluster, so it'll be farther on from here.
Alrighty. Sorry, just clarify.
Albie, real quick question.
Yes.
I see that it says Master Hawk has crafted a piece of sham technology that has been given extensive discussion on the HoloNet. Do I have a basic understanding of said sham technology? Because Kip will basically craft something that basically can pass off as that sham technology, fully knowing that it's not supposed to work. And going with what Victor said, that the sham technology is an upgrade that one can attach to a droid to give them exceptional repair skills.
Correct. Yes. It would be a droid attachment. You will have easily been able to access the HoloNet from the ship and have read what is out there. So yes, you'd have an understanding of it.
Got it. Yes. So in the downtime before we stop at this next stop, if this is the plan, Kip says, patrons, may I adjourn to my workbench and put together the attachment.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea, Cap.
Thank you.
Thank
While you
Thank
guys
you, patrons.
While you guys are talking, you suddenly hear the comms in the cockpit indicating you have an incoming hail.
Okay, running up to the captain's seat and sliding on.
So as you hit the console to activate the message, you see a holographic projection of Mr. Hawk appear before you, who instantly smiles when he sees you, and he says, "Milady, Sky came across."
Sure just brightened my day.
Yeah, you see him smile as he raises a single eyebrow at you. So he says, "Far be it from me to send an ally in to, especially a fine lady such as yourself, without all the information possible. But Sky just figured out, based on some intelligence we've gathered, that some of the fail-safes for the computer core involve super reinforced Durasteel blast doors, which may deploy if things go wrong on the facility. In light of this, I'm going to need you guys to approach someone on behalf of the mission. I have word that a Wookiee, let's call him mercenary, happens to be on the station near Sembla passing through. I've had some business dealings with him before, and I tend to supply him regularly with detonite charges. I think you're going to need somebody with some demolitions equipment and background. I've been unable to reach him directly, but I suggest you guys find him on the station, undoubtedly in the local cantina there, and see if you can rope his expertise in for this mission.
What's his name?
Ishwar.
Not that it would be hard to spot. Ishwar?
Ishwar.
Ishwar.
Hard to miss him. He is almost 7.5 feet tall, very hairy, and cantankerous.
Hey, Victor!
What?
We gotta look for a Wookiee named Ishwar!
A Wookiee?
Oh,
Yeah!
God,
Jensa.
those things stink.
Handsome,
They're
I
trouble.
don't suppose you might happen to have some schematics of this facility, do you?
I do not. I do know, in general, that the facility is kind of laid out on the edge of a rock face. I've never been inside of it. There is a visible landing pad externally, and there seems to be a hangar close to there. All of the unwelcome, let's say, or unexpected traffic would not be allowed to dock in the hangar bay. So I imagine they're going to have you dock on the external pad, and you'll probably be met out there by a delegation. Not sure who you're saying you are, but I suggest your cover as someone that they may not have heard of but looks important. As for Ishwar, if he gives you any trouble, just mention my name. He owes me a favor for a past job. Good luck, guys.
Alright.
Hit me back when you get done.
Will do, I'll let you know we're alive.
Oh, and Jensa. I like the leather pants.
I'm glad. I'm just gonna kind of hang up on him.
You guys done yet?
Done what?
Does he have plans?
No, he doesn't have plans, but he said there's a demolition expert, that's some Wookiee that's gonna be on the starport. We're heading into it. Owes you a favor. He said if the Wookiee gets uppity to mention. So, Albie, who of us would speak Wookiee, since languages aren't a big... How do languages work in this game? I don't think we ever covered if anybody speaks any.
In the beginning, you will speak your native language and common. With the exception, of course, Wookiees can't speak common, but what you could do over time is, if you wanted to learn a language over a series of education skill checks over time, you could learn a language. Other options include having a protocol droid or something similar to translate for you.
So basically, as of right now, no one speaks Wookiee.
As of right now, no one speaks Wookiee. However, most Wookiees understand common.
All right, over the comms. Any chance anybody speaks Wookiee?
No patient, Jensa.
All right, worth a shot. Guys, we have gotten the suggestion from our very nice merchanteer friend that we should pick up this Wookiee named Ishwar on the spaceport. He is apparently capable of some skills that might come in handy on our little adventure.
All right.
So,
Speaking of our adventure,
I'm gonna head on back to the main room once autopilot's back on and everything.
looking at Tyrus, I will say, who is our important tech dealer that they absolutely have to talk to?
Guys, and we should remember, we don't want them to actually figure out who we are after this, because they will probably hunt us down.
Who is our tech contact?
Yeah, we need to pitch it like,
We have to be somebody important, somebody they want to talk to.
Well, we
But
are the
not
people
somebody they'd
that
recognize.
were sent by Grak Halik, of course, the Rhodian scumbag known for stealing stolen technology. A plausible diversion may be in order.
We
Jensa,
don't want to be scumbags. We gotta have a reputation. They're corporates.
Who's gonna be your
we sent-
face man?
we sent our honeypot, Miss Jensa, in, and she slit Mr. Halik's throat and took the technology. They respond well to power.
so we're gonna tell them we stole this thing?
No, we assassinated. We did some wet work for the Rhodian Mr. Grak Halik. We got the tech from him, and he's no longer an issue. What about the details? What's your background? Where are you from?
Well, then we need to make it a point that the reason they haven't heard about us is because
We prefer to
we
keep it that way.
make it that way, and that we would, as terms of sale of contract, wish to retain complete confidentiality. Just basically go in there like we've done this 1,000 times.
Well, Jensa, as you know, they're going to spot me as immune from 50 paces.
Does this mean I have to go in?
But this is a useful diversion because the Mune would be happy to sell anything to anyone.
That is true. Just make sure they don't recognize you after this.
I'm sure that I can arrange a little push in their minds.
Or me, for that matter. How about any of us? Could you do that? That'd be nice.
I think the most important thing is that you make this transaction as comfortable, but as long as possible. I think a thorough demonstration will be in order.
So basically, the plan is, at the moment, Victor and Bior are going to attempt to slip in while myself, Tyrus, and Kip demonstrate the good? Or do you want me to stay on the plane? Or the ship?
The plane, Jensa. The plane.
Sorry.
The plane.
Yeah, I know.
The plane. Actually,
I want you to stay on the single-engine Cessna that you're flying in, and
I actually think that there's pros and cons to you staying on the ship. The pro is if things go down, we got a big gun in the hangar and an
Exactly.
easy ride out. The con is if they know you're on the ship, they might be suspicious.
Yeah, but does the entire crew normally evacuate when they make a business deal? I don't think so. I don't know. Let's pick up this Wookiee and see what he brings to the table. Maybe we can try to find out a little more about this place once we're at the starbase.
so as you continue through the remaining 8 hours or so in hyperspace, I'd like to start by having Kip roll for me a hard mechanics check to create a convincing and believable appearing piece of technology.
Okay, so once per round, I may take the Master Artisan Incidental to suffer 2 strain to decrease the difficulty of the next mechanics check by 1 to a minimum of easy. So, do I also get to add my Inventor boost dice? Because when constructing new items or modifying existing items, I can add boost dice or remove whatever the black dice mean.
You remove setback dice.
Yes. So what of my things can I use?
You could use the first one you mentioned. Is that once per session or once per encounter?
It's once per round.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, you can use that. At the moment, you don't have any setback
though.
dice. It's what?
Okay. No. So Master Artisan allows me to, once per round, I may take the Master Artisan Incidental. I suffer 2 strain to decrease the difficulty of the next mechanics check by 1.
All right, so go ahead and add 2 strain to your current strain in your character sheet, and then roll a average difficulty mechanics
Which is
check.
2?
2 purple dice.
Okay.
And we'll get into the habit of speaking it out loud what our dice results are.
And then so do I get to add my Inventor, which is when I construct a new item or modify an existing attachment, I get to add boost dice.
Yes, you can add 1 boost dice.
1 or 2? I have 2 ranks as an Inventor.
Oh snap, then add
And
2.
per rank. Hang on, and then I add mechanics.
So is Kip loving this as much as I imagine he is?
Yes, because also they finally recognized him that he's better than a droid. Okay, so hang on a second. So no, he's loving this because he gets to like.
The droid might have more social skills, though.
Ouch.
How dare you! Bam!
All right, so we have 2 successes and 2 advantage. So you successfully create, describe what it looks like for us, this device, and how you are going to present that it helps droids with repairability.
Well, I'm not presenting this, Tyrus will, but it is a palm-sized, like almost like a panel. So imagine like a palm-sized thing that has 2 prongs, and you would attach it to the back or head, wherever they have the attachment, right? And it has like clear circuitry. It's like a kind of, again, it's a palm-sized flat panel that has clear circuitry on it. There's some you know, it doesn't look overly complicated. There's some design element to it, but really it's meant to look like it's actually modeled off of one side of the holocron, right? Where it's sort of like circuitry, but it's also beautiful at the same time. But on the bottom side, it has like a plug-in prong that you just sort of attach to something.
Okay.
And the whole point is this: is the helmet that Victor is going to have me wear has something that it can, attach to.
So since you rolled 2 advantage with that, your convincing sham, as well as your description of how it works, will give Tyrus, when he presents this, a boost dice to his deception or to his deception roll or a negotiation roll on what he's doing.
Excellent.
So Tyrus, make note of that for later. Anyone else want to do anything with the remaining time we have left in hyperspace before you get to the station?
I actually would like to approach Jensa while we're in hyperspace,
Okay.
and when we have an opportunity to talk alone.
Okay, we can step into my room or yours or the cockpit.
I'll just walk into the cockpit when nobody else is around, and I'll close the door. I'll say, got a second?
Hey, always for you.
Yeah. So, I kind of wanted to admit something to you.
What?
All of this Force mumbo jumbo, I actually don't really know what any of it means. And I was wondering if maybe you could help me with that.
Well, I mean, we have an expert. He's just unconscious in a rebel medical ship.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not exactly the best person. I mean, I was a kid, but I can tell you what I remember.
That would be helpful. I mean, do you guys like sit Lotus style and think about the bigness of the universe? Like, what do I do?
Well, we can get there. I mean, like, what do you know about the Force?
Just, I don't know shit about the Force. I'll be honest. This is all religious, hokey pokey stuff. I don't know what any of this means.
It's not a religion. The Force is something that has developed on multiple worlds throughout the entirety of our galaxy, and probably exists throughout the universe. I mean, think of it like gravity. It's there whether you're aware of it or not. Or dark matter, which I'm sure in Star Wars they probably know what it is and have some kind of cool name for that I'm lacking education on.
So, I mean, you seem pretty in tune with your visions. I did some things that were quite surprising back there on Maria. How do I focus that? I mean, when I learned to slice, I read data pads and ran samples.
It's the same thing. Like, you have to work at it, right? I mean, some people are naturally just better at it. Like, I don't remember never seeing what's ahead. Like, that's just always been something, like, I'll have dreams and then they'll come true. And I think if I wasn't in a Jedi temple, I'd probably chalk that up to deja vu. There have been points in my adult life where I've chalked that up to deja vu. Even knowing my whole life that was a skill I possessed that came from the Force, or from me. But the Force is, it's all around you, it's in you, it's in all living things. And it's in the absence of living things too. There's a yin and yang to it, and it can be dangerous. It can lead you to very dark places, but it can lead you to enlightenment too. And the Jedi believe that the Force should be used for betterment and enlightenment and self-discovery, and as a beacon of hope and light and knowledge and understanding in the universe. There's a flip side to that you always have to be careful with when you explore the Force. That same energy that can pull you to greatness can also spiral you into the abyss. And I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, I guess.
All right. That
sounds
like the disclaimer.
I started the other day after we got off that crap moon. Started trying to maybe pick up my regime as best I remember it. We have that hollow projected Jedi Master thing in the commons room too. I suggest you talk to that. I don't want to teach you something wrong. I am not in a place where I should be explaining the greater understanding of the Force to another person. I am not wise in the Force. I am not practiced at this point either. So, but I can learn with you if you'll.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think this is something
All right.
we
Well,
should actively work towards.
let's start with some focusing and meditation techniques. This is what I remember from when I was a kid. And Albie, if it's okay, I'm just gonna kind of go through the process of like daily meditation in a monastery that I was brought up with as far as back as I can remember.
Okay. How long are you going to spend on this instruction, time-wise?
Well, she's meditating too because it's good for her, because I've got to get... Jensa has decided if she's going to pursue this, she's going to pursue it full tilt, and since I do not have a lightsaber, I feel safe touching.
I'm going to also inform you that due to the time spent assisting each other in meditation, the next Force-related discipline check you have to make, you both get a boost dice.
Cool.
Cool. Yes, I will ask Jensa if forces like gravity, maybe you could just help me understand how to fall gracefully.
That, I think, is the goal of us all.
I will actively try and learn. I will certainly look uncomfortable trying to meditate close to Jensa, but I will try my best to follow instructions in the routine.
There is something else I want to talk about with Victor alone when they're done, but I can wait for the round robin. You can deal with some other players first.
Okay. Anyone else have any activity or business to conclude prior to arrival at the station?
It's funny because I would also like to talk to you, John.
Well, then I guess you find us in the common room.
Yeah, we're in the common room meditating. I assume I motioned for you to join us and then kind of go back to whatever I was telling Victor and breathing and, you know, all that fun centering on
Okay, well, I mean, since we're here talking about the Force, I don't know how else to explain this, but I saw the vision, the same vision that you had. I saw, and I can't really explain it too much.
Wait, what? She kind of stops whatever she's doing and like stares at you.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be upfront, I saw the vision you had of, oh my God, what was this guy's name? The guy,
Jaggasan.
Jaggasan. I saw the vision you had of Jaggasan. I saw it as clearly as.
Oh man, I'm sorry that I don't. Do you think that was me projecting, or are you just picking up? Like, had a look confused.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how this happened. Clearly, you and I have some kind of connection through the Force. I'm not sure, but
well, I mean, I would think. I think
saw
we're
the
probably
entire.
all to some extent connected through the Force. This isn't the first time we've shared a vision. Technically, right?
Right, exactly. But the ending of your dream has haunted me. It's ever since I've seen it.
It's really bothered me too. That's why I haven't picked up that lightsaber again.
And see that.
I kind of think that if you want my 2 cents on it, Oh my god, I can't believe that happened again. Are we always gonna, like, are you guys gonna, like, frequent, is this gonna be a frequent thing? We need to talk to that stupid orb, I think. But as far as that saber is concerned, I kind of feel like that's how you fall. Like, how much do you know about the Force?
I know a bit. I know quite a bit.
So you know there's a dark pull there that can take you if you let it. Right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that's how you fall, by bits and pieces, right? Like maybe by the time you get down to the bottom of the hole, you've given away so much of yourself, a little penny at a time, or a quarter at a credit at a time, that you don't realize how far you've fallen until you're at the bottom looking up. My interpretation at the end of that was that Saber's brand of freedom is
very appealing to me.
She kind of looks concerned when you say that.
I don't see evil in it at all. The freedom is actually what attracts me.
He lost his entire family. That Saber advertises freedom as being alone, giving up everything and having nothing. And to me, that's not freedom, that's selfish. You can have freedom to live the life you want to live. That thing seems to have a very specified idea of where freedom is. And that crystal's some kind of Sith artifact, and the whole production of that saber was made by a guy that was literally talking to a Sith Lord in the vision.
You're right, but he defied him. He destroyed him.
And then has to comply with the will of a inanimate object for the rest of his life. I mean, look, I'm not gonna pick it up, and I'm not gonna pick it. Let me just say this: I'm not gonna pick it up because it has a definition of freedom that to me seems like the kind of idealistic nonsense that teenagers spout off about. The guy lost his whole family and abandoned everything he cared for in pursuit of this artifact that inevitably left him tainted, and its idea of freedom is solitude. To me.
Great.
I think freedom means a lot more than that, and my personal ability to choose the path I'm going to take shouldn't be defined by the company I keep. It would be nice to feel free to have a family. I don't. I think if I try to settle down, the Empire's going to pick me up and kill me. The choice to pursue a family and a quiet life somewhere would be nice to me, but that saber disagrees with that. So, but I don't know, man. If you pick it up, here's my thing. If I can say one place I think the Jedi Order maybe didn't have it down right, is how restrictive they were to let people explore their own paths. And I'm not going to do that to you. If you want to pick it up, okay, but if you start going
in the room
down,
with us?
No.
It is in Jensa's chambers in the captain's quarters.
If you want to pick that thing up and you start going down a dark road, how do you want us to handle it? And I'm going to kind of look over to Victor since he's sitting in the room too.
Now, for me to use my force movability, does it have to be in sight?
Yeah, you have to have line of sight with that kind of stuff.
Let's see what upgrades you have to your force move for range.
I mean, you'd have to know where it was in the very least to manipulate it, right?
Distance-wise, you could. You'd have to just know exactly where it was, which I'm not sure you would at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think
no,
you
I
would
don't.
if you hadn't been in the room.
I have no idea.
In response to Jensa's glance, Victor is straining to find peace and calm with people talking all around him.
Okay, so he's still trying to meditate and looking like awkward.
That's a great effort, Victor.
Keep going, buddy.
I grin.
I don't.
I want to make it clear that I have a bad vibe about that thing. And I'm saying that from a lifelong venture of having visions. If you want to pick it up, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to wield it. It could potentially be of benefit to our party. I'm just saying, be careful, and if you start having weird dreams or hearing weird voices in your head, you have to swear to me you will talk to me about it.
Oh, of course. Without a problem.
I'm very concerned that thing might be corrupted, and that thing might slowly tick you in a path that makes you a very, very bad person at the end of it.
Oh, that's not like me, Jensen.
It
That would
doesn't
never
matter,
happen.
though. There's things out there that could, I don't think it's a one right and wrong choice that pushes you off a cliff. I think it's death by 1,000 cuts, man. So just, if you
How about-
want to
how about-
pick it up, I'll let you
How
take
about we
it,
need
but
where is it?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go into my quarters. I'll pick the saber up. I'll bring it back to Bud.
As soon as I can see it, I force move it into my hand.
You're gonna snatch it out of my hand?
Okay, are you opposing him, Jensa?
Yes.
All right, so first, Bior, make a force check. You have a force rating of 2, so roll 2 force dice.
Oh, this is our first force versus force opposed type check. What do I?
All right, so you succeed in moving it. I need both of you. Well, let me do this. Actually, it's going to be a
Is there
contested.
opposed roll? There should be an opposed roll.
It's going to be an opposed skill check. Bior is making the check. So Bior, you're going to be rolling. All right, so you're gonna make a discipline roll. So go ahead and double click your discipline skill check, and I'll tell you what dice to add for difficulty.
Me?
No, it'll be Bior making the check.
Okay.
Bior, you double click your discipline roll, and the dice you'll be adding for difficulty will be 1 green dice. I'm sorry, excuse me. It will be 2 green dice and 1 yellow. I'm sorry, 2 purple dice and 1 red dice. So this is an opposed discipline check representing both of you kind of opposing each other in the force. Okay, so you rolled 4 successes and 5 threats.
Damn!
So you
What do I
yank it.
accidentally flip the lightsaber on as he yanks it towards himself?
So Bior, you pull it out of her hand, and as you do, as time slows for a moment, Jensa, what is the look on your face as this happens?
I draw my gun.
So Jensa begins to draw her pistol. As it enters your hand, Bior, all of a sudden, without you pressing the ignition switch at all, the lightsaber ignites. And when it ignites, you had previously seen that Kip had modified it to be kind of a clean, sleek, sharp blade. Still curved like a scimitar, still orange with crossguard, with each of the crossguards kind of one curling up and one curling down. But initially it ignites in that form, and you see the crystal inside almost glow like 10 times brighter than it typically does through the crystal viewing chamber in the hilt. And it becomes extremely hot, and you feel this vibration in the hilt. And all of a sudden, it goes back to its flaming kind of sort of plasma burning quality as the blade kind of like flickers and hisses, and you see kind of like the flame reignite on the blade. And this is without any mechanical modification. And you feel this sort of enormous, I'm going to say like unity with the energy in the crystal. And what
I
you're
have just changed my mind.
what you're witnessing is essentially a complete effect of the force power in the crystal, rather than any mechanical modification such that Kip had taken out of it earlier.
May I also?
I just immediately say, and I changed my mind. And if there's like a safety that's getting clicked off,
Are you reholstering?
I do no, I do a couple of
it's
forms.
extremely not okay. And having that snatched out of her hand.
And I look down at it. I sheathe it, I guess, or turn it off.
So you turn it off, okay. The blade turns off, the crystal goes back to its very dull orange glow.
I breathe heavy, and I imagine there's sweat beating off of me.
May I take an action, Albie?
Victor should get to
Of
take
course.
an action, because I'm gonna probably shoot somebody. I don't know, my character's kind of twitchy, if you haven't noticed.
I am going to attempt to use my misdirect force power to disappear from Bior's sight.
All right, so once again, roll your force dice. What is your force rating?
It's just 1.
Okay, so roll 1 force dice for me. All right, so you fail the roll unless you want to use the dark side point. You rolled 1 dark side.
I am actually trying to actively find peace and center. So I don't succeed, but I don't know that I don't succeed. So I'm going to try and slowly get up and walk around Bior.
Okay, so Bior, you see him kind of walk slowly around you as if he's convinced you can't see him.
Oh man. Okay. As I look,
I have my hands on the gun. I'm pointing at your forehead, saying in a very clear tone, drop that blade. Drop it.
as I
Drop
look
it.
at Victor, which is hilarious, I smile just like in my character art that we saw today. I look at him just like that. I smile, but as I'm doing that, I gently force move my lightsaber towards Jensa, and I'm like,
Alda's lightsaber, the
"You don't have the
curved.
wrong idea."
You can totally see me, I say in a carousing tone.
Yes, man. Yes, I see you.
Yes,
I
man.
thought I got you. I kind of frown.
I don't know what you're doing. but
I don't know what
see you.
just happened, but I just completely changed my mind about how I feel about that lightsaber. Put it down, please.
You have nothing to worry about, Jensa.
You just snatched that out of my hand, and now it's all weird again.
I think I have a stronger bond with this lightsaber. Like I imagine you would have a stronger bond with my lightsaber. I don't feel this lightsaber is me. The one you have, as soon as I saw it in your vision, I don't know what it was, I had a connection with it.
I look at Jensa, who is probably still jittery towards her gun, and I
No,
say,
I've got my hands on the gun, and the gun is pointed at his forehead. Yeah, that's where Jensen's at.
All right, Jensa, let's put the gun down. You don't want to shoot that in here anyway.
Why'd you take it out of my hand?
I couldn't. I don't know.
By the way, as an aside, Alda's lightsaber is still floating in midair.
You decided to snatch it out of my hand on your own, or you don't know the evil lightsaber made you snatch it out of.
Oh no, I snatched it out of your hand. There was no trickery here. No, that was all.
I look very, very, very skeptical of everything you're saying, and then I shoot Victor like a paranoid "do we shoot him" look.
You have
I
nothing
shake
to
my
worry about.
head.
I hand her the lightsaber. Here. take it.
She's standing back with the gun pointed at you. She is not happy.
Jensa, let's put the gun down. Can we put the gun down seriously?
Is he sure?
I think he's okay.
We're all
Okay,
good.
I'm just
We're
gonna
all good.
put the gun down. She's gonna slowly lower
We're all
the gun.
good here.
She's had a rough life.
I feel like a tumbleweed should be rolling through the lounge deck of the ship here.
She has issues,
Is it high noon? Yeah.
pretty much.
So for future reference, Bior, just on the ship, let's take things from each other's hands nice and calm. Jensen, please don't put holes in the ship walls.
Oh, I wasn't gonna put a hole in the ship wall.
Yeah, it was
Bior,
pretty much
I
on
am-
my bed.
Can we also not
seriously,
shoot people in the ship?
seriously not comfortable with that lightsaber. If it's what I think and feel, then it is bad business. So please don't give me reason to be more wary of having that thing on the ship than I already am. Because before you said something about it, my immediate plans for that saber was to find something that would completely destroy it, like, I don't know, jetting it into a star.
Oh my god, that would have been such a waste, Jensa. You have nothing to worry about.
So the Alda's saber that he had force moved is still floating in midair before you, Jensa.
I'm gonna reach out and take it slowly.
As you grasp it in your hand, it feels comfortable to hold. The only odd thing is the rose in your pocket seems to be ever so slightly vibrating, like you might have felt something against your leg in the pocket it was in, and then it was gone.
Okay.
The feeling.
I've had enough weirdness. I just want inanimate objects. Just wants inanimate objects to be inanimate at this point. So I'm just gonna belt it and excuse myself from the cockpit and go to my room and try to meditate again and calm down.
And as you guys kind of let the tension pass from this heated encounter on the lounge of the ship, you hear a computer alert on the from the cockpit. It's not supposed to be danger. Disregard that. It's actually just a notification that you. Sorry, wrong button. Sorry, wrong button.
She finally calms down. Don't kill your friends.
Even the ship is mad. No, I'm just kidding. So it begins to notify you're about to drop out of hyperspace in the orbit of Sembla.
I'm gonna come back up to the cockpit like none of that ever happened and sit down calmly.
And as you come out of hyperspace, the blue tunnel effect kind of disappears. The stars streak before you as they kind of go back to a normal star field. And you see a planet before you, which the console indicates
And
is
the
Sembla.
spaceport.
There is a large orbital spaceport.
Oh, okay.
It is in orbit around the planet. There is very slow traffic in and out of it. There's not many ships around, but it seems to be at least a minimally active starport. What would you like to do?
Hey, Jensa, did we ever get, like, official documentation?
Weren't we supposed to talk to a guy about that before we left?
Mr. Hawk did say that he would help put in contact with a boss official who could potentially be bribed.
Yeah, wasn't the meeting when we got back?
Yes, it has not happened yet. So technically this ship is still registered to a person other than you.
Oh, damn.
Do we have that holocron
The
thing that the
holocron.
master had?
The holocron is sitting on the table in the lounge, which is in room 8 on the ship map. It's just sitting on the table there, floating above it, kind of hovering.
I'm gonna go to the weird floating box thingy. Can I figure out how to use it?
Yeah, you have to. You've seen this done once before. The first time you guys activated it, in order to try and reach out to the Force to, let's say, meet its requirements, you'd have to make a hard discipline check.
All right.
While he
I
rolls
say
that
out loud.
Yes.
Maybe there's something in the magic box about boss papers.
I feel
And
like we
I
need to
will roll.
name this thing.
Boost his effort.
It's the portable Master Need.
The Porto Master.
I think I broke it.
So, yeah, Victor, as you try and reach
Shake
out with
it
the
more.
Force, the tumult of the last 40 minutes in the ship has you very off-center, completely wrecked your mojo with the attempt to meditate. And you just can't quite seem to connect with the device like you witnessed before. You're mildly frustrated, actually, as a result of it.
Alright, I'm frustrated. Stupid box.
Now you are in sort of
Bring it up here, I call from the front.
I
orbit
bring it
around
up
the
there.
station. You get a hail
gonna
over the
try to-
comms.
Well, I would have held up on our approach if we were gonna check the magic box to see if it had like registration numbers. So I'd be paying it. I wouldn't make a approach yet. So I'm gonna try to shake the magic box. Sorry, Porto Doctor or Porto Master. Willpower or discipline?
Hard discipline check, yes.
So that's
Are we
good.
allowed to
3
boost
purple.
that, Albie? Can we boost anyone else on that?
Yes, you can assist each other. The way assisted rolls will work is
Really?
you take the highest of your characteristic for the green dice and the highest of your skill for the yellow dice. So, if it's you, Tyrus, that is aiding Jensa, let's quickly
What
just...
are we doing? Sorry. What's the aid for?
She's trying to access the holocron.
Yeah, we're trying to see if there's any sort of shipping
You both have the
information
same
before we
willpower,
approach
so we're
this.
starting with 2 green dice, and who has the highest discipline skill? You both have the same. So in fact, it's still it'll be functionally the same. So I'll let you add 1 boost dice actually. So Jensa, make a hard discipline check, and you can add 1 boost dice. So
I
Jensa,
have
actually,
2 successes.
as you quiet your mind, despite the disturbing, tension on the ship earlier, you're able to center and quiet yourself. And as
The
you do,
snatching incident.
you hear a voice in your head that you instantly recognize as Master Nguyen. And he says, "Welcome back, Acolyte." And as he does, the holocron sort of spins more quickly, and all of the sort of holographic circuitry, the blue circuitry you can see on it, kind of glow bright blue. And you see a holographic projection of him appear over the conference table. And he says, "How may I assist you?"
Master, I was wondering, there is an issue with the ship we're on. We do not have the right verification codes for ownership just yet. Is there some way you had intended on getting around that?
You see him look upward as if he's thinking for a moment. And he says, "I apologize, Jensa. I must have acquired this ship for you after the point at which I made this holocron. I have no specific knowledge of how it came into my possession. In general, from my understanding, the only way in which you can alter boss records is to either have an expert in the area assist you in slicing the database, or to have someone change the database for you. Your datapad that you have on the ship must match the official records at the boss facilities. If there is any discrepancy, and only if you're officially asked to review the datapad, you may run into some regulatory issues."
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
And
is there
I
anything
have
else
some
I can help you with?
questions for you for later, but now's probably not the best time, so
I am always here for you,
I guess
Jensen.
we'll talk. Thank you, Master.
And the hologram slowly flickers out of existence as the holocron slows its spin back to its sort of really slow rotation.
So everyone saw that conversation?
Everyone saw that. That was out in the open.
Yeah, that was on me.
So I rub my forehead and I say, great.
Yeah, so you need to fix it, is what I say, and I head back to the cockpit. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to hope they don't check.
Sounds like it's blockchained. Can't exactly fix that.
You hear
You're just gonna
repetitive
have to
hailing from the cockpit.
on the inspector.
What did you say?
And in the time at which you guys have been talking and you have not responded, you see two kind of shuttles leaving the station and approaching your ship.
I wouldn't have gone close enough to be bothered before we talked to the orb.
Apparently they were aware of you and they were trying to reach you.
Just hail him. I'll talk to him.
All right, I'm gonna answer the hail. Sorry about that.
Hello, this is Sembla Station Control Deck. We see you've dropped out of hyperspace. Are you seeking credentials to are you seeking permission to land?
I think we will, actually. We seem to be having some navigational issues with our system.
Not a problem. We have people who can help you with repairs on board. Please
Thank you
direct
so
the
much.
ship. Avoid traffic on the east side of the dock. Please come into docking bay 24.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm going to be extra charming. So, and
Bear
start
in
rambling
mind,
about-
your sublight drives should be on slow speed as you approach the station. No cowboy flying here.
Yes, sir.
Jensa, make me an average space piloting check to successfully dock. All right, you skillfully guide
I have
the ship
one
in.
success and I got advantage.
Success and advantage, thank you. Yes, you successfully identify on the scanners docking bay 24. You guide the ship in slowly and gracefully. You see the blue
Follow
glow.
all the turn signal and traffic signs.
You do. You flick all the appropriate signaling lights as you approach. You broadcast your docking approach to the station. You see the force field kind of flick down briefly as you pass through, and then flick back on again, and you land successfully. As you do, you see a small team running up to the ship with sort of like a hovercraft with a fuel tank, and there seem to be some technicians and mechanics running up to the ship.
Any official-looking people, boss emblems or anything like that?
No, nobody official. These all look like technicians.
All right. I
Alright,
don't
so
see
we might
anybody.
have might have slid under the radar today. Yay. Alright, so we're looking for a Wookiee. I say.
Hard to miss.
So as you
All right,
exit
well,
the station,
If he's in the cantina, I'll go check it out. I'll make that sacrifice.
I think I'm gonna
Oh.
sit here today. Just not having a good day.
It's me and you again.
What was that, Bior? You cut out halfway.
It's me and Victor again.
Man,
are you guys
should I-
exiting the ship at this time?
I will exit.
So as the hatch comes down, you see the rear door kind of descend into a gangplank that you can walk down. There are 3 technicians outside with a data pad, and they address you guys. Hello, who's the captain?
Captain's busy. I can help you. What's up?
Sir, and your name is?
My name is Vic. What's
Vic.
your name?
Thank you, Vic. You can call me Grek. What is the name of
Hi,
your
Grek.
vessel? And where are you traveling from? And are you carrying any cargo?
Sorry, yelling off the back of this ship real quick. And we need new nav systems. Victor still needs.
We actually took care of that last game.
Oh yeah, but I lied and said we were having navigation issues when we came. So when I hear him talking to somebody off the back of the ship, I'm just gonna yell at him.
I say, oh, shit, yeah. Oh, well, hey, Greg, was it?
Grek, yes, Grek. How may I
Yeah,
help
Greg. Okay. What do you need? We need to buy something from you? I gotta meet a guy.
you? Buy something? No, we're here to serve you. Well, I should point out there is a docking fee, a modest docking fee, 160 credits. Would you like us to
Pull out my cred
refuel?
stick.
Would you like us to
That too.
refuel your ship?
Yep, that too.
Do you need any repairs or maintenance?
Kip, do we need any repairs or maintenance stuff?
I can take care of the repairs, sir. I just need the materials to take care of the hull damage.
And I ballpark the materials we need.
I'm sorry, you want to do it-yourself maintenance? Is that what you said, sir? Vic, is that your name?
Is there like a do-it-yourself fee?
Well, only the materials. Frankly, it saves our team a little bit of work. I can confer with your friend in there. What's his name? Who are you, sir?
He's talking to me?
He's talking to Kip.
Kip does not answer.
Vic,
he's very personable.
Right. Well, have him talk to one of my technicians to arrange transfer of materials. We also can sell you consumables for the food and such that you've expended on your travel. Listen, docking fees $160. You can go ahead and pay that. We can take care of maintenance when your friend wants to come down and speak to us.
I'm gonna cover the docking fee. Do we need supplies? If so, tell these guys. I'll pay the $160 out of my personal spend.
So docking fees are paid. This will cover one day in dock, full 24 hours.
Okie dokie. I went from $862.50 to $702.50.
All right, and Kip, are you gonna discuss maintenance with them now, or are you gonna wait?
I'm going to go to Jensa and say, Patron Jensa, we need to discuss maintenance fees with the staff down below.
Yeah, sorry. I just had a weird conversation with Bior. Yeah, I'm getting up. I'm gonna stand up.
Well, now that you've paid your docking fees, you're free to enjoy the amenities of the station. We have a cantina. We have a few basic supply stations here. At the moment, there is no real vehicle equipment for sale, but we do have some general supplies and simple weapons if you need them. There's not a lot of traffic to this station, you understand, so we are more of a backwater outpost. Do you have any business?
Don't sell yourself short, kid.
Do you have any business on the surface?
Why, you know a guy? I raise an eyebrow.
Well, we could put you in contact with the local government if you need clearance to land. Oh, also, I almost forgot. Any cargo to declare?
Just your typical haul. As a deception, being that my character would certainly have a familiarity with what kind of BS cargo claims they make, can I just give him a simple deception check to convince him that we're carrying basic shit, and then I will pay whatever the standard fees are as promptly as possible, as not to get further inquiry?
In this case, it would just be an average deception check, which you're free to roll if you'd like to do that.
This is all your standard stuff, mechanical parts, etc.
You rolled one
land
success
cruisers
and 2 advantage. So you could tell when he looks at you, he kind of appreciates your efficiency and the time you're saving him, as he kind of checks off a few things on his data pad and says, of course, yes. There's actually no additional fees. We just wanted to make sure you had nothing to declare. If you don't mind, we have a few other captains landing we'd like to attend to. Have your friend talk to us when you need repairs. Enjoy the station. Good day.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be out of your way.
Smooth talking.
And then I will head to the cantina.
So while he's heading to the cantina, I am going to go outside with Jensa and do a quick assessment of what we need so that we pay as little as possible. What do I need to roll to figure that out?
Okay, so if you're gonna, are you having Jensa speak to the technicians, or are you doing it?
No. We are first doing an assessment of, like, a visual assessment of the ship together before we talk to the workers.
Okay, got it. So go ahead and make me. Let's see. Please make me a average mechanics check, please. All right, you rolled 2 successes and 2 triumphs. Wow. Okay, so
Nice.
even 1 triumph on the roll results in not only success in the repairs, but you are so efficient at sort of making use of equipment that you have on the ship and kind of jury-rigging things that you actually succeed in full repairs of all the 3 hull trauma you have remaining at no additional expense. So you saved yourself about 2,200 credits.
Awesome. Just so you know, I also have something called solid repairs, which is 2. I have 2 ranks in that, and so for every +1 hull trauma, so whenever I repair the trauma, I always get a +2 up to repair the trauma. So yes, we are awesome.
In other words, you slam dunked that.
Yes.
Excellent.
I smile at Patron Jensa.
Yeah, so before the technicians can even approach you again to ask if you need any equipment, they can see actually that you're already hard at work, and they kind of shrug and look at each other and walk off to another ship.
Wow, Cap. You are so talented.
Thank you, Patron Jensa.
Man, you've got a bright future, kid.
That's what Patron Kalara used to say to me.
And who is going with Victor to the cantina?
He's so good he could pose as a droid with cutting-edge technology. Speaking of which, we gotta find him an outfit.
Vic and Bior, both of you are heading to the cantina. I assume the rest of you are staying in the ship?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to chat with Tyrus anyway.
Okay.
And Kip, while Bior's not around now.
Tyrus, are you there?
You can go on the private with those 2 and Ken, and we can hang out over here however you want to.
All right, so let's go first with we'll wait for Tyrus to get back. Let's go first to the
Ken's been
cantina deck.
patiently waiting to.
Yes.
So Vic and Bior, as you walk through the station, you come into a kind of small but cozy-looking cantina. There seem to be maybe 10 or 15 people scattered across the small tables. The bartender is serving 1 or 2 patrons at the bar. There's not much going on in terms of entertainment, and the room is dimly lit. But across the table, across the room, you see there is a very obvious Wookiee kind of hunched over a table, looking way too big for the chair he's sitting in.
He'll be playing Zabrak with a Grand.
And what do you do?
I think we found.
I sigh. That was too easy. I'm looking around. Are there any individuals here wearing the Acrid corporate uniform or maybe logoed wear?
Make an easy perception check for me.
Here it comes. No, that is failures.
But 4 advantages.
You did roll 4 advantage. So you don't really see anyone wearing any Arakid insignia. However, you manage to kind of draw the attention to yourself as you kind of walk into the area and sort of survey everything. And Bior is kind of able to slip around the side of the room and is largely unnoticed.
Oh, sweet.
I will whisper in comms to Bior. Keep an eye out for any corporate folk. Maybe we could shake them down.
Will do. But
I'm gonna
I think we need
approach the
I
Wookiee.
think we need to talk to the Wookiee.
Yeah, well, let's keep the mission in mind.
You talk, I'll look.
Sounds like a
Ishwar,
plan.
while you're at the table playing Zabrak, you happen to notice a gentleman enter the room, kind of long, like mid-length hair, a little shaggy-ish on the hair appearance. He's kind of wearing what you might, interpret to be a smuggler's gear, some leathers, and walking in, kind of looking around the room. He catches your attention, but after that you pay him little mind as you continue your game.
I'm gonna sit down at the Sabak table.
Has Mr. Hawk told me about them coming?
No.
Okay. So you just walk up to his table and sit down at this game of Sabak he's having with the group.
Mind if I buy in?
He immediately kind of looks at you like you're imposing. And then do you speak Shiriwa?
I speak common.
Okay, well, in that case, you probably only hear.
Sounds like a yes to me. And I pull my cred stick out. What's the buy-in? Is there
Buy-in.
a dealer here that does not look like a Wookiee?
Actually, there is no dealer. This is an informal game. So, Ishwar, what's the buy-in?
100 credits.
So, Vic, to you, this is a low-stakes table.
I will buy in at low stakes. Could you bring up the Sabak rules again?
Oh, sure, yeah. Let me pull that up real fast.
It's basically blackjack with where you're aiming for 20.
Right. There's a table that tells you how to do it in game mechanics terms for
I
Force and Destiny.
Didn't even know that.
Give me
Is
1
that
second
me?
to find it.
I'm just walking around, keeping an eye on Vic, but also looking for the people that he asked me to look for while I smoke my.
Excellent.
Now, in this case, this is going to be a contested check, since essentially you guys are playing against each other with some other, a couple other minor players at the table. You can either use cool or deception. If either of you are trying to cheat, you can use skullduggery or computers.
I am intentionally going to attempt to cheat.
All right. Are you using your skifter that you have?
I am not using the skifter.
Okay. All
However,
right.
I am gauging the Wookiee's skill.
All right. So what I'm going to have
So-
you do, Victor, is you're going to roll either a skullduggery or computers check, and I'll tell you the difficulty.
What's the difficulty?
And
I'm rolling skullduggery.
Ishwar, you have, let's see what you're better at, cool or deception. You're kind of cunning or
They're both the
presence.
same.
Both the same. So pick one. Let's just say, so you roll your skullduggery, your computers, Vic, and the difficulty dice is going to be just 2 purple dice.
All right, sounds like a plan. Yeah, just got back from a long haul. Looking to make a little money, I smile. Then I do a little shady something.
Oh, yeah.
Does.
So you rolled a success and a triumph. And now each player, both of you, please roll 1 force dice. Okay.
Killing it.
Okay, so Vic, you actually, let's see. I'm trying to see how triumphs work with this. I'm gonna count it as 3 successes. Oh, the result of a triumph was okay. So you win the entire pot, basically, which would be 500 credits for the people playing at the table. Ishwar, he just beat you and took your money. How do you respond?
Yep. So instantly, the Ishwar looks visibly upset. You can hear him angrily make that noise as he stands up, kicks the table over and the pot all over the ground, and then he says something else in
See, it's
Skywalker.
good I didn't go. It's good I didn't go.
So Vic, the credit sticks, they go flying all over the place. The 3 other guys on the table start shouting. You can see the bartender look over. He reaches behind the bar, and you see him pull up a small blaster carbine as he pulls it out from behind the bar. Tension's rising.
I keep my cool. I stay at the seat even though the table goes flying over. I put my 2 hands up, and I say, "This is why I hate Wookiees."
Over the comms, I say you need.
We lost that
Look.
buyer.
You lost your money fair and square, but if you want a way to earn it back,
Hold on.
Hawk
Now,
said he owes you. You owe him.
that being said, is there a way for me to tell if he cheated through some other...
No, he would have to have rolled enough threats for you to realize he cheated. So you
Okay.
you have no
Alright.
knowledge that he did.
Okay.
That's like part of the reason why I drew on Bior. My character has PTSD, and I had he got 6 threats from me, right? So I decided to interpret that as it triggered Jensa a little bit.
Yes, exactly. He rolled a ton of threats on it.
So that doesn't matter because
The way he did it was threatening to her, so she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna shoot him in the head."
because Wookiees hate losing, and you stopped his win streak. So he just grabs you by the collar and literally lifts you up and says some more stuff in Wookiee that you probably don't understand. But it's pretty obvious by his body language that he doesn't like.
Okay, so
Feeling is mutual.
I'm actually, by the way, as he picks you up, Victor, are you resisting him in any way, or are you letting him lift you off the ground?
I'm gonna let him lift me off the ground.
Okay, so Ishwar, you can tell he's not resisting you in the least, as you lift him probably a good 1.5 feet off the ground and are face to face with him.
Yeah, he would tower over you at this point. He is 7.5 feet tall.
Do either of you say anything?
No, he just yells in his face and then puts it back when he doesn't do anything.
Vic, you feel hot Wookiee breath coat your face.
I
with
know.
maybe a drop of
I
spittle.
kind of cover my face a little bit, just over
I
my
think
nostril.
it's more moist. Just
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
hate that word.
steamy and it's probably not that fresh.
Okay, so Vic, you're moist.
Look, you want to win your money back? I got an opportunity for you. Hawk said we could rely on you.
Ishwar, you would instantly recognize that name.
Right, yeah, his demeanor changes and he seems to calm down, but he still doesn't like you. And he's waiting for you to continue. He just stares at you.
You still have him lifted up in the air?
No, he put him down. When
Okay,
he
put him down. Okay.
didn't resist.
I straighten my jacket and my t-shirt, which is probably ruined. We need assistance getting our way through, well, a couple of big doors. He said you might know a way to help us through those rather large doors. Okay.
Describe your body language.
I'll take that as a yes.
Ishwar, describe your body language as you make the noise.
Oh yeah, he would nod his head slightly. As a full description, I can explain. So Ishwar, 7.5 feet tall. He's rather hulking, even for a Wookiee. He has slightly broader shoulders than most Wookiees, and very powerfully long arms. His fur is generally a very dark brown across most of his body, with some black fur around his face and jawline. 2 long bearded braids with golden clasps hang from his chin, with 2 more at the back of his jawline. He has 4 more of these hanging off the back of his head, and he is wearing padded armor that looks almost quilted together. It's dirty white, and it covers all of his 4 limbs, and he has a chest piece as well. There is a visible scar on his right hip where no fur grows, and it peeks out from behind his utility belt. He is wearing a very large bowcaster over his shoulder, and on his back is a 6-foot-tall vibro axe. He has yellow eyes, and they seem quite hardened. Well, his face is currently an expression of thoughtful, if you know anything about Wookiees.
I turn to the bartender, who probably still has his blaster rifle out, and with my hand still up, I say, "I think we're okay here. We're okay here. We're all okay." I look at all the other guests. Then I pick up the credits from the table, and I give 100 credits back to the Wookiee, and I say, "As an offer of goodwill, here's your buy-in."
And I finally take my hand off my light.
Yeah, you see the bartender put the blaster carbine back under the bar, and he goes back to polishing glasses.
So then he just looks back at you.
Yeah. Well, we're docked. Do you need to go get anything? I look at the giant axe. Anything up? I give you the gate where we're docked. I describe the ship. I let him know about the crew. We travel with
Well, I mean, I go up to them, and I'm like, "I see you finally."
You cut out, but
You cut out at the end there.
No, that I walk up to the 2 of them, and I'm like, "So you guys, we finally meet."
He points at the green guy and just...
Yeah, he's with me. With us. He's with us.
You had me nervous there for a second, Wookiee.
just kind of shrugs at you with that sound.
Did you spy any shills? I kind of whisper over to Bio.
Did I happen to catch any, Albie?
No activity. Just locals.
Negative.
Is there a roll we could make to just gather info?
Streetwise.
Can I use Underworld to see if I... Oh, Streetwise? I'm good at that.
Unless I'm dreaming that, isn't that a skill?
Yeah,
Streetwise, cunning. Yeah, you could make a... Well, what information are you trying to find specifically? That will help me determine the difficulty.
I am trying to find anyone who knows anything about the droid outpost on the planet.
Okay, so that actually is going to be a hard streetwise check, so that'll be 3 purple dice, 2 purple dice, 1 red dice. So it'll be upgraded once, considering this is a top secret facility.
Can I first use Underworld instead of Streetwise to try and identify that would broker information? I don't want to come out and say, hey, do you know about the secret, top secret droid facility? I want to say I'm looking for someone who can get me some information. Someone who knows things. I'll roll Streetwise.
Well, the knowledge the knowledge would have to be something in a general sense you already knew.
So I'll roll Streetwise, but I don't want to come across as I'm asking about secret robot facility. I'm looking for an information broker.
Yes. Well, that would be a risk you take on the roll, on the attempt.
Sounds fair.
To ask around. So don't forget you have destiny points.
So, is it still going to be hard with a red?
Basically 2 purple, 1 red dice. If you use a destiny point, you can downgrade the difficulty, which means you push the little red minus on Fantasy Grounds.
Wow,
So,
nothing.
yeah, so you actually rolled no success, no failure, no successes, which basically is a failure, but there's no threat or anything else. So you kind of poke around and beat around the bush and kind of ask if anybody's aware of this area of the planet where the storms are. And pretty much after about 30 minutes of chatting up people who are drinking and such, nobody seems to go around there. The weather and the sea conditions are so rough, people kind of just stay away. So no one's really been in that region around here that you can talk to. That being said, you didn't seem to raise any eyebrows or create any suspicion as far as you can tell.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to do that for a while, so I guess we'll... That'll be me.
Anyone else? want
Ishwar
to-
is still asking you questions, but you probably don't understand what he's asking.
Who are you
Then
asking,
he
Kip?
just kind of
Sorry,
face palms.
Victor?
Yeah, Victor.
So yeah, you're this Wookiee kind of like gurgling and talking and making noises at you, and he gets frustrated and...
And then he pulls out the cred stick and like shakes it at you. Basically, really, he's kind of trying to figure out how much you're gonna pay him, but like you don't get that. Like you just told him you have a job.
I like push your arm away and say, we'll play Zabrak later. There'll be plenty of time for
So like then he just looks at the cantina, like the bartender, and says, "This guy's an idiot." In Siri book, and then tells him to translate for.
The bartender kind of looks at you guys as he's polishing the glass, and he holds the gaze with Ishwar for about 5 seconds, and then he just looks away and goes back to polishing glasses.
Then he throws his hands up and again angrily starts to growl and kicks over another table and then just heads to the...
As you kick over that other table, he reaches back under for the blaster carbine again, but doesn't pick it up over the bar. He just has a hand on it. And now he's put the glasses down and he's just staring at you.
Yeah, he walks out. That's all he does. He's just making them clean up more.
After he walks out, I say, that guy really hates losing.
And the bartender shrugs at you and then looks and then goes back to polishing his glasses.
Well, let's get out of here, Victor.
Yeah, when my inquiry's over, I'll head back to the ship. And Sarah's currently away. She's coming right back.
As you come back to the ship...
The thing we need to accomplish is finding accessory parts for Kip's costume.
I'm back.
Accessory parts. They would have a general store here that would sell basic supplies. So whatever you could make from that.
There's no disguise skill. What skill would you think would
Skullduggery.
There's skullduggery.
Yeah.
All right. Can I take Kip, a cred stick, and my skullduggery skill shop?
I wanted to talk with Kip and Tyrus first
All right, I'll let you do that before we get back with the Wookiee.
while you guys were going.
Oh no, the Wookiee left. He's leaving you. He's going to the dock because you guys don't understand and you're dumb. You just hired somebody but wouldn't tell him how much you're going to pay him.
But I will when we get back on the ship after praising the crap out of Kip for being awesome. I'm hoping he'll decide to stay on his own, but if not, I will take him back to his core world. I'm gonna say, hey, would you care to join me in talking to Tyrus about?
Whatever you require of me, Patron Jensa.
Well, you don't have to stay if you don't want to, Kip.
I don't understand Patron Jensa.
It's okay, Kip. Sorry, kid. Tyrus is having my... So... Again... Do we want to wait for Tyrus?
I think he's having a mic issue, so let's kind of move on for the moment.
Do you want me to
Ishwar would probably show up at the ship in the...
Well, if he's listening, I'll basically try to be quick about it and just explain the situation. So that saber we picked up from your captor.
Patron Jaggasan?
Yeah.
Patron Jaggasan?
Patron Jaggasan. I had a really disturbing vision about that guy and the road he kind of took. He was apparently with the Order at some point, and he left the Order and got involved with the Sith, which I don't really know about. They're kind of like, I have like some vague memories of kind of hearing people at the monastery I was at talking about them like they were boogeymen. Like, it's a dark, dark part of the Force that they channel, and you have to be careful to stay away from it. But yeah,
ma'am, who or what is the Order?
the Jedi Order.
Oh, yes. Patron Jaggasan used to rail against them.
Yeah.
And the Sith.
So this,
Like hours and hours and hours of just talking, or more like monologuing about how they were all fools.
yeah.
I have no clue who they are, except I do know that the Jedi are terrorists.
The result of this vision basically just what you said just basically goes right in sync with that. This guy had basically fallen to some of the darker drawings of the Force, and he constructed that lightsaber with an artifact that a Sith had him trying to get to resurrect himself with. So I feel very strongly that that lightsaber has a very dark echo to it, if you will. And Bior apparently saw my vision and wanted the saber, and he kind of snatched it from me, so we had a really awkward moment up in the cabin that I don't really want to talk about, but I don't think it's my place to tell him that he can't wield it if I don't want it, and honestly, I think we should, like, throw it into a star. But if he's gonna have it, I think we all need to be aware that it might affect his behavior, because I get a really bad vibe from that thing.
Ma'am, are you describing that? Are you saying that Patron Jaggasan encoded malicious
His malice
code onto the art? Okay, and you think that somehow this malicious code will imprint on
Bior.
Patron Bior?
Yeah, basically.
Well, how do we prevent the imprint?
Well, I would normally say we wouldn't let him have it, but I don't think it's our place to make that choice for him.
Patron Jensa, if I may add, that's not how computer viruses work.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kip. He snatched it out of my hand. So that doesn't make me feel better about it either. Yeah, it makes me feel bad about it. He's insisting that he just did that on his own, but it makes me really uncomfortable, and he has it now. And I don't know. I look at Tyrus, which really sucks that his mic's out.
Well, Tyrus actually looks at you, Jensa, and he says calmly as he regards you that destiny is not a river that sweeps you away. It includes a choice. Do not abandon that we each face a choice. And then he looks to Kip and says, when you make a machine, do you follow a manual? Do you follow an instruction? Or do you listen to your instinct and create the machine to be what it is intended to be?
Well, I don't follow a manual, patron Tyrus, because, if I may say so myself, it is but a guide. But oftentimes I have found that I can improve on what lesser intellects have written.
All I'm saying is, he has it, and I think it's irresponsible not to make you guys aware of the situation, and I cannot stress how strongly I feel that this weapon is bad news. And I told Bior as much.
Kip, having been around Jaggasan for an extended period of time, do you have any reflections on the nature of the weapon from observation?
Well, it is hard for me to distinguish between the ravings of Jaggasan and any influence of the weapon, because Jaggasan has always had that weapon and he has always raved. So I cannot so Kip does not feel confident in distinguishing between Jaggasan and the weapon. To him, there's not enough input to make a recommendation.
Honestly, your comments that he was raving just kind of confirms my belief. I think this thing just kind of slowly pecks at you, and I learned a lot about Jaggasan's background through this vision. I think this thing kind of pecks at you to make you feel like the choices you're making are your own, but I definitely got a clear impression that if you do something that this crystal doesn't want you to, it stops working for you. So that's encouragement to misbehave. I don't know what it is. But it's kind of pitches like this whole solo freedom kind of thing, freedom from the dark side, freedom from the light side, freedom of choice thing. But its freedom from choice involves like killing your whole family and being alone, or sacrificing your family.
As an out of character point of fact, he did not kill his family.
But he let them die.
No, it was against his will that it happened.
Yeah, well, I misinterpreted that, but
that's okay. Your character may have misinterpreted that.
The point still stands, and that'll be what Jensa says.
Now, as you guys are discussing this, you suddenly see an enormously large Wookiee walking up to the gangplank of the ship.
I'm gonna guess that's our Wookiee, though.
He'll walk right in and start setting his stuff down, and then looks at you guys. And do any of you understand what?
I was kind of gonna pitch that I might have picked it up in my space travels, but Albie seemed to have ruled that we have to learn it. So, not yet.
Yeah, technically at the moment, none of you speak it.
So I'm just going to extend my hand and say it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm assuming you're our man.
He responds in a way you probably don't understand, but he does walk over and shake your hand.
I was like, I'm going to apologize in advance. I am trying to learn your language, but I don't know it yet. I have met other Wookiees before, one or two, in my travels. I hope you're really comfortable here. I will be happy to text back and forth with you if that's what it takes to get communications through. I'm Jensa, I'm the captain. This is Tyrus, and this is Kip, our engineer.
Kind of nods at you all and gives you the whole... Oh, wrong one, actually. Sorry, that one. But... Is there a data pad anywhere?
Yeah, she'll
there a what?
actually, when she says texting, she'll actually hand you a data pad.
Okay, then he types on the data pad, "Nice to meet you. You guys owe me money. I was hired by some moron in the cantina. Where's the food?" And then he
I read it and I nod and I say back, we're actually, you were recommended to us by Gilliam, and I assume he's going to settle up with you. You guys have a working history, to my understanding. Is that correct?
he nods.
All right. I'm assuming that's going to be the pay arrangement. I can get him up on the comms for you, and we can figure out what we need to pay you for your time, because you definitely deserve it.
He nods. I guess he's like, there's no point in talking because nobody here understands.
All right. So,
So
I'm
then he
gonna
kinda,
motion
motion
him up the gangplank. What's our rooming arrangement?
Somebody sleeping with a 7.5 foot tall Wookiee.
Well,
I suspect you're gonna shove him in with him. Just so you know, I've been assuming this ever since you told me you were gonna be a Wookiee.
so there are 4 quarters rooms. We had previously agreed the captain's quarters was a solo. The room labeled as number 5 has 1 bed in it, but you could easily secure another one if you wanted to. But you have 6 beds in here, so
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
So I will point out the rooms to him. I'll be like, the guy that hired you or that met you in the cantina is in that one. The green fellow with him. What's his race again? What's Byron's race?
Marillion.
Miriam.
The Marillion that was with him is in that room. Tyrus is in that room, and Kip is in that room. Feel free to bunk in any of those rooms.
Okay, so out of character, are you putting him in a double room or in the single room across from you?
Well, who's bunked? Because we've definitely got people double bunked already.
I don't think anyone's really come out and laid claims, so
I was taking the room adjacent to
I'm staying
across from.
in.
He would growl. He would growl at Tyrus.
Where's that ship
calls him a
picture? Can
walking
you pull up the
road runner.
starship? Before you say anything, Ken, the bathroom is downstairs. There's like a little
Oh,
black
God.
circle. There's a stairway right there, and that's where the bathroom.
Yeah,
The
well, he's too
bathroom
busy.
is the bane of my
I was
existence on the ship.
in. If she's
So
in 5,
I'm
I'm
in
in
6.
6. I'm in 5.
I'm in 6. You're in 5. So
Mine hasn't
Tyrus,
unloaded.
Bior,
is
and Kip.
in 4, most
Okay.
definitely, because 7 is the engine room
Engineering
and
room,
all that stuff. Yes, engineering room. So Kip
Whoa,
right
my
there,
Discord.
that's in 4, next closest to the door.
So your Galaxy Masters question to find out who has the largest ego. Who's
Tyrus.
staying in room 5?
I'm in 5.
Yeah. Tyrus, Bior, which rooms are you guys in? 3 or 4?
Tyrus is like me for room 5. Oh, he says I live in 11 in the bathroom. He's constantly primping in the bathroom.
Oh, is he just hanging out in the main room then, basically, Tyrus is?
No, he's kidding. He's saying he was in the bathroom the whole time.
The refresher.
He says a girl has to look good.
Yeah, we need a new bathroom on this ship.
Especially with the Wookiee. He's
Bior.
gonna kill that thing.
He is going to destroy the plumbing.
Is Bior in 3 or 4?
No, I'll take 4. I don't care.
Okay,
All right,
you
so
and
Bior and
Kip
Kip
bunking
are
together.
rooming. Jens is
So-
in 6.
So
Who's in
where's the
5? I
open
think
bed?
Kip said he's in
Question.
5.
You can
No,
be in.
Kip's in 4.
I mean, not Kip.
Buyer
Victor's in
and
5.
I are rooming.
All right, so we have our rooming. Ishwar, how do you feel about being
So
told you have to
Tyrus-
room with someone else?
You're either
He doesn't-
rooming with the Mune or with the human that hired you. So I'm assuming you're going to be in Tyrus's room.
I think
No,
the 2
he's
tall guys should
literally
room.
No. In fact,
Room with-
he's not
Right.
gonna stay with the giant-headed guy. He's gonna stay with the guy who's an idiot.
So you're going to squeeze into 5.
He's gonna squeeze. You're gonna
Oh
squeeze
wait.
in a single
Oh, sorry.
bedroom.
Wait. What's my option?
It's not even a room for one Wookiee in
No,
that room.
you
5.
only have one option. It's 3.
3, yeah.
I
Oh,
vote.
okay. So then
I
then
vote
I'm
that the
staying in
Wookiee and
3.
Tyrus are spooning the whole time.
Well, she'll basically like ask him. You know, there's already 2 people in here. I'm in here. You get choice of the rooming with Tyrus or rooming with Victor. And
No, he doesn't have choice of room with Victor.
Oh,
There's only one bed there.
yeah, okay, 3. So I'll be like,
There's
hey, you're
no
gonna
choice.
be rooming
Okay.
with Tyrus.
I
I'll
don't wanna
open the
belabor
door,
the point,
and you
but-
can put your stuff down. You can put your stuff
This
down,
is a
and we'll
huge
move
decision.
up to the cockpit.
Okay,
Yes,
well-
it is.
He puts all his stuff on one bed and then lays on the other bed with his legs obviously hanging off the end of the bed.
By the
I'm
way, just as an
gonna hope
aside,
that-
Ishwar,
that
when's the
Tyrus
last
can't
time?
See that?
When's the last time you showered?
Me?
But the
Ishwar.
Wookiee, I mean, like, he grooms, but he's probably a couple days.
So
He's
you
on a
might
star-
smell slightly of wet dog.
Well, he didn't get wet.
I'm just kidding.
You smell
A bunch of Wookiees
Tyrus and him are gonna
around
make
here.
epic roommates, him and Tyrus. So anyway,
Now, Vic,
I go and sit down at the desk, and I'm going to dial up Gillum.
you're gonna dial up who?
Gillum?
Geleth, yeah.
Geleth. Sorry, it's the election.
All right, so you managed to get Geleth on the comms. Jetsa, what can I do for you?
Hey there, handsome. I've got a Wookiee who wants to say hi.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
gonna
Hey,
turn the computer to face the Wookiee reclining in the bed.
what's up, Ishwar?
Why? So he's like, why would you hire me to work with a bunch of people who can't speak to me, who can't understand what I'm saying?
The rest of you notice that Geleth fully understands everything that Ishwar is saying. And he responds, Ishwar, listen, I know this is a little unexpected. I just happened to get word you were passing through the system. Let me just say I'm calling in an old favor. You remember what I did for you getting you off that Imperial facility? When they had you
Folds
in
his
the...
arms.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to bring it up, but let's just say, consider it a favor to me. I'll throw in a couple thousand credits your way. You need to help these people. Ishwar, they stole something from me, and it's big. And,
Who stole something from you?
Arakid. These people are in bed with the Empire. They're stealing my droid tech to try and...
the people on the planet.
No, he
I need to
knows.
clarify before the Wookiee rips my
Yeah.
head off.
No, he knows.
They stole tech from me that has to do with the top secret droid system, and I think they're incorporating it into an assassin or spy droid unit, and I can't let that happen. I'm worried that on the facility, that if they try and go into the computer core and erase the data of the schematics, if they trick something, they have a blast door system that'll be nearly impossible to get through. You're the only one I know who has the kind of ordnance required to do this that's anywhere near where they're at.
Well, I would need to go pick up some more. All I have right now is a couple of grenades, but I could use some proton.
Don't you have those detonite charges that you purchased from me a couple months back?
Out of character, is that the DM handing me something that isn't on my character sheet?
Exactly.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I do have several of those.
That should be enough. Enough to get
Will
through
there-
any...
Will there be any actual Imperials at this place?
Ishwar, I think it might be worse than Imperials. This might be a Crimson
What's
Dawn
worse
operation.
than Imperials?
You so owe me some champagne when this is over.
Who, out of character for me, who's Crimson Dawn? Is that
You would know it to be
Darth Maul's group?
yeah.
Out of character? Yes. Okay. Yeah, they're the criminal organization. Okay.
They stole it. They sold it to Arakid. Arakid's in bed with the Empire. I just need you guys to get the tech back and delete the computer core. It isn't going to be easy, so I figured they'd need your muscle.
He says they also Well, some of them at least need to learn manners.
Oh yeah. Don't mind Vic.
The one
You-
with
you
the
just
John
James
butt-
Victor.
the one with the John asshead is also a jerk.
Oh yes. Well, he's got a lot of money, so.
I have
Doesn't mean anything.
no idea what was said by the Wookiee, but I'm pretty sure the blunt of the I think I get the gist from he has a lot of money.
Oh, who they're talking about, right? Yeah.
Anyway, guys, get moving.
Hey,
on
look,
this.
and I know this
Time
is
of
probably
the
going to be
essence.
frustrating for you, but yeah.
They're hacking my defenses on this schematic, so time is of the essence.
All right.
Okay.
We just picked him up. We're getting loaded up now, and we're heading out.
Vic, you are going to go pick up supplies. I'd like you to make an average skullduggery check to see if you can scrape up enough to make a convincing disguise.
I will use my Master of Shadows to reduce the difficulty by 1.
What does that do again?
I take 2 strain, and it allows me to reduce the difficulty of a skullduggery check.
Oh, nice. Okay, sure. Add the strain to your character sheet. Holy
I have
God.
6 successes.
Wow.
6 friggin' successes. Okay, so you only spend about 50 credits and you pull together an extremely convincing disguise from a bunch of sort of iridescent dyes that you pick up from the general store and, some basic kind of pigments and supplies that you kind of are able to mastermind out a way to kind of make it look like glowing circuitry on his skin and such. You feel like
I
you have
bring the
everything you
goods onto
need and
the
you're
ship.
pretty confident.
I say, I see the Wookiee joined us. Welcome to the ship. I say, and with big sweeping hand gestures and a really slow drawl to my enunciation.
Ishvar, you can totally pick up on his patronizing gesturing.
Glad to see you too, buddy.
He just shakes his head.
I
All right.
will coordinate with Kip. I'll say, Kip, I got us a lot of good stuff here. I kind of go over it piece by piece, but I am going to leave the finer details of the convincing work to his expert.
Patron Victor, I think I will need your help in what will be most effective.
I will assist in any way possible. Sounds like I guess that's it, right?
He hands that data pad off to Jessa.
And Jensa, you can feel free
Yeah.
to request clearance for a takeoff if you like.
So Ishwar wants to hear the plan.
Okay.
Victor, if you want to explain that to him in detail.
Yeah, so we are heading to a secret acrid. Is that the pronunciation?
Eric.
He rolls
yeah.
his hand like he knows this part. Like,
Heading to a secret droid facility on the planet. While we are attempting to pawn off new droid tech in the form of Kip in disguise, Bior, you, and I are going to need to sneak into the facility, find the piece of tech that they have stolen from Hawk, as well as the central core computer, splice it, get the technology, take any other information of value. We're gonna rendezvous with the team, and then we're gonna get the fuck out. And if something goes wrong, I was made to believe that you're gonna blow a door open.
he nods. And then
Any
pulls his
anything to
backpack
add?
off. Pulls his backpack off and puts it on the table, and it is full of explosives. And Then he says, oh well, he doesn't say really anything. He's given up on that.
I hand him back the data pad.
Yeah, he just says, he types into it that just let him know when it's time to go Plan B. And Plan B is to destroy these stupid Imperial, the word I was looking for is collaborators.
Will do. Hey, it's a good point. Do we want an official Plan B code?
Yeah, we need a safety word, gentlemen.
Well, we're fucked. How about that?
Pineapple.
Fuck me.
Pineapple.
Pineapple!
Pineapple.
Pineapple!
And what
Sure,
exactly
I think
happens
Kip
when
wants
pineapple is
pineapple.
said?
Don't you mean lananas?
Ananas. Yes, I want ananas.
What the rest of the world calls them?
There we go. All right. So
So, just to
question.
be clear, am I staying on the ship or am I going with Tyrus?
I think you should stay on the ship.
All right.
Question for the game master here.
Yes.
I'm seeing what you're writing, Scott, just FYI. Tyrus
Yeah.
agrees I should stay on the ship.
Yeah, you can also help us run point by, using the computers, doing comms between the groups, etc. Help us coordinate. Question for
I
the
get you.
GM:
Yes.
is there any kind of skullduggery roll that I could make to ensure that Victor's making all the right moves? Because he is extremely adept at this, and I, as a player, may not be.
Oh, Tyrus, I'm very trigger happy today. It's probably a good thing that I stay on the
Also-
ship.
The way that I would
Also-
handle the skill checks is if you conceptually describe, in essence, what you're trying to accomplish, we just would determine the skullduggery check based on that. It just strongly depends on what you're trying to do in the moment, is what I would answer.
Okay. Well, I think the idea is, would Victor think that this is a doable plan? Are there any holes in it that he would fill?
Mission assessment, in other words.
The slicing
Exactly.
thing's kind of Victor's thing anyway, so it kind of makes
Well,
sense for me to
general-
be getaway driver. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, general skullduggery is my thing, so I just want to make sure that this is appropriate to Vic's level of knowledge of how to infiltrate a facility. I don't want to leave something out because players didn't think of something.
Again, well, one thing I want to be cautious to answer, are you comfortable with me giving an answer, Vic?
Well, I mean, is there a check I could make to determine if this is doable?
Yeah, you
Real
could make
quick
you
before
could make an average actually either knowledge underworld or skullduggery, just as an assessment of the plan.
After that, I'm going to say before we go, I'm going to meditate for a minute because I want to try to foresee as well.
Okay. Vic, you feel pretty confident, especially in regards to, by the way, you rolled 2 successes and a threat. You feel pretty confident in regards to the, what you're going to do when you get there. I think your anxiety comes slightly a little bit from the social grace probably required to make it to that point.
Yeah, I also want to run by Tyrus. I know he's not on Discord.
He can hear you. But
I kind of want to back and forth with Tyrus, between Tyrus and Victor, to make sure that Tyrus has a convincing backstory for his alias.
Okay. The way I think we should handle it, since we're getting close to the time we're wrapping up, we're going to actually call it after landing at the facility, and then you guys will have safe time to confer between sessions about what your specific strategy is.
Also, Ishwar wants to know, somebody mentioned that they have a fragmentation missile, do we actually have a launcher? Like,
Yes, yeah, you have a.
Suggests that
Tyrus
is
is
left.
in possession of a launcher with a single missile.
We should keep that by the loading platform.
To quote a Princess Bride, well, why didn't you list that amongst our assets?
Indeed. Should set that right next to the loading ramp.
All
Sounds
right.
like a plan.
I am going to try to foresee as much as I can about what's going to happen.
Okay. So you're
I'm
using
just
your.
gonna go into my room, tell them I just need a minute to think about the plan.
All right. So you have a force rating of 2, correct?
I do indeed.
Go ahead and roll 2 force dice for me, please. So you roll 2
I
dark
got
side
2
points.
dark side pit.
So you fail
Oh, I was gonna use
unless.
the force thing on this.
Well, you can't use destiny points on force dice rolls.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, no.
So it failed unless you want to use the dark side points, which would mean would mean 2 strain and 2 conflict.
Well, I can see why she might have some dark thoughts today. Yeah, I'll go with the conflict since that's the only way to progress towards the light side. So.
All right. So 2 conflict and add 2 strain to your character sheet as well on your current strain. So Jensa, you rolled essentially, you rolled 2 dark side force points. You channel the dark side for a moment to fuel your effort in seeing the future. And as you close your eyes and try and center yourself to view what typically are unformed or rapid and evolving visions that you have, you hear things that unsettle you at first. You hear, screaming and tumult and fire, and you feel angst, and it creates in you just a sense of discomfort. And as that passes, you see brief flickers. You have the option, Jensa, as the character, to spend the force points as you will. With your strength upgrade, you can ask for a specific detail, one specific detail. And you are also allowed to look more than 1 day in advance. Each one of those things costs a point. So is there any particular way you'd like to use this? So you're spending 1 of the dark side points just to use the power and reveal a vague hint of the future. You can either spend the second to look an additional day ahead, in other words, 2 days ahead, or you can use 1 to pick out, you can tell me a specific detail you're looking for.
I'm kind of like torn between. I'm curious about 2 potential futures. One where Victor tries to sneak in separately from the Tyrus, and the other where he goes in with Tyrus and splits off separately once in the facility. That's the 2 potentials I'm conflicted on, plan for.
So you'll have to formulate for me a very specific detail or question. For example, do I see Victor getting harmed if he goes by himself? Something specific.
Yes. Do I see Victor getting harmed if he goes by himself? Or if the party splits, basically.
As you put that thought into your mind, and the images and colors are shifting rapidly, you see for the briefest moment Victor inside a computer core room, and as he seems to be working feverishly on the device, he seems to be at an adversarial contest against an artificial intelligence, and you see him not immediately in danger but under stress. And in the moment when you're watching him flicker his hands rapidly across the console, you seem to see a vapor in the room, as if the temperature is dropping, almost like if you opened a deep freezer and you see kind of the mist coming out of it is pouring out of the walls. And the remainder flickers out of out of anything clear as you open your eyes.
And that's all I get. I don't get anything else.
That's all you're able to see.
Hey, it's better than nothing, right? So I'm gonna walk out of the room. I'm gonna walk up to Victor. I'm going to take his hand in mine. I'm going to look him dead in the eyes. And I'm going to say, when you're in the control room, watch out for the vents. There might be deadly security in place. Vapor.
Did anybody have a gas mask?
No, I don't believe so.
Do we have a rebreather?
By the way, Jensa, you would have kind of witnessed this. It would have strike you more as a temperature differential than any kind of toxic fumes.
Maybe cold? It felt cold.
So wear a jacket.
Really
Pack a winter coat.
I want to channel my inner Jedi.
Or evil.
Because I'm...
Yeah, that's right. You're totally not force sensitive at all, are you?
Yeah, he is, actually.
Actually, he is, yeah.
Oh, cool.
He is a force-sensitive Wookiee.
Do we have, like, a cold weather outfit? Or some kind of...
Not unless you bought one.
Wear?
Bear in mind, you just came from a desert, so...
Are we still on the spaceship, right?
You are still in the space station. You still have not taken off.
Left the space station yet.
Can I check for thermal gear?
Sure.
Do they have it?
He's gonna run out and go to the winter clothing shop.
You're gonna go to Burlington Coat Factory? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna get a parka from Burlington.
Hey,
You
know
have
what?
a walking
Space
fur
is
coat.
freezing cold. I'm sure there are lots of places you can get warm clothing.
So what you're saying is I should cut open the Wookiee. They sure do smell. You thought they smelled bad on the outside, kind of thing.
If he liked you, he might give you a hug. A nice warm hug.
Bone-shattering hug.
Yeah, I'm gonna say again. I have to look through the considerable item guide to just pick the exact item, but I'll say you can get basic cold weather gear, which would give you a boost to your resilience checks for 100 credits.
We'll trust our instinct, and I will buy it.
Okay, feel free to
And
deduct the credits.
do we have a reason to? Didn't
I did.
Gilith already set up contact with these guys for why we're going down there, or are we just gonna?
No, he's set up nothing for you. All you have is a potential cover, a cover story.
All right. Well, we were told by the concierge here that we would be able to make contact with the service from here if we so desired through them. They could facilitate that. So I guess that's how we'll do that.
With the government. This is a black site.
Oh, yeah.
We know about it based on the information from the dead trader. And we basically got this droid tech from him, and we're going to go down and basically just try to sell it to him because they're a black site and they like corporate espionage, so they don't give a shit where they get this information.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was confused, I guess, by the whole we'll make contact. For some reason, I thought they basically owned this whole planet. So. I guess if we're good to go, we're good to go.
Yep, Vic, you have some cold weather clothes to assist you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna move the Jedi Master in a box into the cockpit.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to him while I'm basically sitting there all by myself next game.
Okay.
But I'm basically gonna put him on the dash head like a bobblehead, and then
The holocron bobblehead.
Are we gonna have time to rest up and remove the strain we have on the character sheet?
I mean, that's up to you if you want to take another 8 hours to rest, but has indicated to you that time is of the essence. They're actively trying to hack through the defenses on his...
Well, we can go.
Yeah, they're about to have a ton of strain because they're going to have an angry Wookiee.
Yep.
A lot of
All right,
strain
so,
on a lot of people.
Jensa, you request basic clearance from the station as you power up the
Yep.
engines. You carefully lift off and leave the space station as you make your way towards the aforementioned coordinates on the planet of Sembla. And as you begin to descend through the upper atmosphere, you feel some minor turbulence on the ship as you cross through the outer atmosphere. I will, yeah. However, at the moment, you're descending down towards what looks almost to you from the extreme height you're at, almost like you'd see a satellite image of a hurricane or sort of swirling clouds in one region of the planet that you're heading towards. As you begin to descend down there, you are just starting to cross low enough in the atmosphere that you're beginning to feel some turbulence increasing. And at this point, I'd like you to make a hard piloting planetary check, please. And Victor, I'd like you to make
I'm going to use actually, I'm going to save the force dice. No, I'm going to use a force dice.
Yeah, they're going to be gone by next session, so.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and use some force with this. If you would like to grab one. Does that give me a green plus?
You can drag it over yourself if you want to. Just drag it over to the other pile. And yeah, you get a green plus. Which is an upgraded roll, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you rolled 4 success and 5 threats. So, as you begin to descend, you are able to maintain control on the ship. What you kind of see before you is there's a rainstorm. There's approximately intense winds, which from your piloting experience, you probably would estimate around 100 mile per hour winds, swirling in.
I'm going to click over the fasten your seatbelts toggle. The seatbelt lights are on in the back if you are riding.
So you're seeing the winds kind of whip back and forth. There's you cross over like sort of a thermocline, like in the air, and all of a sudden with the air directional change and the ship will list suddenly. However, you're able to actually maintain control such that the passengers don't have to make a coordination check. But you have to make some compromises in your angle of approach due to the wind shear. And you are coming at the facility sort of from a less than ideal angle. And although you would have probably liked to maybe chosen your approach a little more carefully, suddenly you notice a ping on your sensors as you were being hailed.
All right, we're on. Tyrus, you talking or am I talking on the approach?
Below you,
I'm gonna. Tyrus.
Yeah,
Tyrus,
you can. I'll give him a second to respond by typing, as I'm gonna put up the artwork for where you're heading.
Keep.
Okay, this is. Let me put this up for everybody. So what you see before you. This artwork basically depicts the planet of Sembla in rough seas and storm as you are approaching the droid facility. You can see it's actually not the largest facility. It's actually on a rocky cliff-like outcropping amidst very rough but from what your sensors indicate, like fairly shallow seas. So this lone rock formation has this very high-tech, advanced-looking facility with nothing else around it for miles. And you can kind of see there's one large landing pad that's extremely well lit with intense lighting. You can see it kind of a beacon in the night as you're guiding the ship down towards the facility. They clearly see you, as you can tell they pinged you on the sensors, and they are actively hailing you.
Giving Tyrus a second to respond. Okay. Oh, put me on the spot. What are we saying our company's name is, or your name is, or what was going to be your deal?
Let them know that this is the ship Halleck's Legacy, and we are bringing a proposal on a piece of exclusive technology that would be of great interest to Acrid. And we are requesting permission to land.
I'm going to click on the comms and say greetings. This is the Halleck's Legacy. I am a representative of a individual that has a special offer of some very unique technology for you. We are requesting permission to land so that my associates can make a proper presentation for you.
You have kind of like a gruff and not very eloquent voice respond to you. This is a private facility. We don't take visitors. We suggest you clear the area. Well, if you're aware of it, leave our airspace.
We think this offer might be particularly interesting to your employers. Do you have someone we can speak to? Perhaps a manager?
We don't take offers from people we don't know. How did you hear about us?
I'm turning the mic off and looking at Victor. Those are you
Grak
guys'
Halleck. That's the name of the ship, Halleck's Legacy.
Jensa, do you repeat that information to the tower?
That seems like fishy. Like we need somebody that's important, but that's not gonna be
That's
like
somebody who's dealt with them and sold them technology.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Grak Halleck, thus Halleck's Legacy.
Jensa, go ahead and make for me an average deception check, please.
Okay. Again, this is not my forte.
Since I'm feeding her information in her ear, can I aid?
Yes, actually, you can
I'm
aid.
the charming one. I'm not the liar.
You can aid, and specifically, Jensa, you're gonna be rolling. Let's see, deception is cunning 2, and Vic, you have cunning 4. Okay, so you're gonna be rolling 4 green dice, and actually 2 green dice, 2 yellow dice. That's what you're rolling, and average difficulty is 2 purple dice.
Okay, so 2 green dice, 2
And
yellow
2
dice.
yellow and 2 purple. You have
Hey!
rolled 3 success and an advantage.
That I have advantage.
After only about a 5-second delay, as he clearly has left the console for a second to confer with someone else in the room, he comes back on. Halleck, you say? All right, he's done some good business with us in the past. Put down on the pad, the external pad. Don't come near the hangar. We're gonna send a party to greet you. Power down
Aye,
any
aye.
weapons. Do not leave the ship until our convoy, our escort party comes to meet you.
Of course. You have a good day. And I'm going to gently land the ship, turn off the weapons, do everything as by the book.
We have a good day, like Han Solo in the Death Star. Having a good
So-
day. How you guys doing?
Based on your very expert piloting check earlier, you managed to put the ship down safely despite the enormous wind shear and tumult. And you touch down as the ship safely kind of lands on the pad. You are now you've powered down all the systems except for internal power, and I leave it to you at the moment what to do next.
Alright, I'm gonna say, alright guys, you're on. At least the weather's in your advantage, Victor. And I'm staying on the boat. I mean, that's the deal, right? I'm staying on the ship as the getaway driver, so this is all...
First it's a plane and now it's a boat.
I know, I'm just having fun with it at this point.
Patron Victor, may you help me put together my disguise?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure Kip's all done up. I presume we ride the previous.
Yeah, we'll assume for time management that you have spent the time in transit in makeup getting him ready. He looks stunning.
The droids are
normal?
turned on.
Are we gonna call it since we landed past 11?
Yes, we're going to call it. However, as you lower the gangplank but remain inside, you wait and you see a tall, thin Kaminoan approach with 2 armed guards walking down the long path towards the gangplank. They have sort of the equivalent of a small handheld device with... it creates a holographic appearing dome over their heads, sort of like a
The Wayne and wind
force field
whips
version of
it.
an umbrella that they're carrying as they walk out
Nice.
in the
Kamino-
wind.
Kamoan is the really
Hey,
tall
Albie.
guys. That cloners.
Very, very, very nice touch, by the way, because I always think it's silly when you see all the Star Wars guys in the rainstorms and they're getting all poured on and getting whipped at. I'm like, why don't they have some kind of like shieldy thing for that?
Yeah, it's like a force field umbrella. They're totally
Yeah,
carrying.
I know.
So as they close the distance on the ship, we will call it with them approximately 15 feet away and closing the distance. This is where we will pick up at our next session. We'll quiet the tempest here. And I'd like to say wonderful session, everyone. Thank you. And that about wraps up our show for tonight. Welcome Ishwar to the party. We love having a Wookiee. Join us next time as the party lands on the station of Sembla and attempts to infiltrate to complete Geleth Hawk's mission. Our next episode will be in 2 weeks' time, near the end of the first week of June. I will be heading out of town to Scotland for a trip, visiting some of the distilleries in the Highlands. I hope you all have a great few weeks. We'll see you next time. Good night.